I have a tendency to like mute myself because I have a fan. So
That's fine. Turn down the volume. I can't hear the fan, to be fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't hear it at all. Just put your microphone closer to your face if you could. Is it that? Is it the snowball?
Yes.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
I love y'all. Oh, I love y'all. They're so fucking cute. Oh my god.
Wait, I can turn it up. I turned down the input because it was really loud on my end, but if it's really quiet for you guys, I can turn it back up.
It's good right now where you're at.
Okay, then I'll just sit like this. I won't move.
But yeah, so once again, everyone, welcome into Mental Health Monday. Welcome into the safest space on Twitch. Welcome into your mental health talk place, queer safe space. Welcome to Mental Health Monday as well. Particularly, this is a mental health talk. Real interview. We're probably not going to pay attention to chat too much, except I am going to pay attention to chat because I can't help it. And y'all are awesome, and you probably have awesome questions for Pochfad. Poch like watch. Poch
just,
like watch.
Okay, just so you know, it's a weird name, and I totally get that. I don't get, just in case you're worried about it, I don't get any offense if it's said wrong. Just so you know. So if you can remember Poch like watch, awesome. If you call me Poch, I will answer to it. If you call me Poch, I'll be like yes. Just don't call me like buttface. I might not answer to that.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get your address and we're gonna send you a Poch like watch sticker. And then you can just put it on the top of your screen and you'll be like,
I literally will. I'll fucking put it right above my webcam.
See? Poch like watch.
I has one. But I wanted to say thank you very, very much for having us on here. Like, this to me was like, I've been geeked out about it. Like, it's a huge honor to
really
even be asked to. Yeah,
I've been geeked out that you accepted.
Oh my goodness! Like, we've been talking about it.
Like fangirl.
Like, dude, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like, okay, be cool.
Same.
How do you think I feel? I'm sitting in a room with 2 stars.
No, your name is Star. I don't want to.
Your name is exactly. You're the actual star here, right?
Thank you.
Oh my god.
This is awesome. This is awesome. I just want to say this is awesome. Like,
this is awesome.
I'm excited.
I'm so smiley right now.
Like, all 3 of us are like. So stream, we're not gonna talk. We're just gonna go like this.
We're just gonna go
20 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it goes. So interestingly, this is actually like a very strange format for Mental Health Monday. Because as I told my guests in the first week, I genuinely don't really have any prepared questions. I kind of do. I have like general stuff, but I don't really have like too prepared questions. Now I do have these. Oh boy, let me find the command. There it is. So those are the questions that got asked last time, and that's like my note taking. That's my short note taking of the questions, but. Basically, this is what I aim to do here. So let's set out right. We're an intro paragraph of our essay here, and I can teach you all how to write a 5-page research essay in 20 minutes. But here's your 5-page essay here. Here's the introduction. This is what I aim to do. I aim to have and foster a really great discussion on intersectionality, identity, just in general, mental health, and what intersectionality has to do with mental health. As always, and generally the question that I usually start with, go about from like 4 or so questions, and the first one is, let's define this. So, to both of you, individually, what is intersectionality? What does that mean? What is that term? I've never heard it before, even though I've literally studied it, but I'm just pretending I've never heard it before.
Do you want to go first, Star, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
So, when I first heard it on your stream, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, it's been 2-3 weeks you've been talking about this?
I've been talking about it since last week.
Oh, was it? See, I watched, actually, I watched your last one and then I rewatched your VOD.
Oh, jeez.
No, like, you have no idea. Like, I am a fan. I am legitimately a fan.
Thank you.
So I keep hearing you say it, and I'm like, what the? I got to remember to watch my mouth. I'm not on my stream. What in the world
Potch.
is that? Like, what is that? What is that? And so I actually did a little bit of research in preparing for this right here. And correct me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because this is something that I'm learning. Intersectionality is pretty much the way, using the word intersect, things cross over and how each one affects the other throughout your life, and in between culture and nature and nurture and all the other things that have the variables that have made you who you are today. Is that roughly? Am I close?
I would
if
say,
we go,
say
if
so.
we go by the dictionary definition, this might help you because
Okay.
I'm Miss Research Queen. Intersectionality is the interconnected nature of social categorizations such as race, class, and gender as they apply to a given individual or group, regarded as creating overlapping and independent systems of discrimination or disadvantage.
Yes, I also have Google.
So, what
yeah.
that really says, what that really says to me in just the scope of myself, is it will help me to define and see. My favorite question is why. I ask why about almost everything. I am that 3-year-old kid that's like, what's this? Why? You know, like, shut up asking why, but I'll keep asking why. Why I do certain things. The whole reason why I got into psychology in the first place is I wanted to know why I did stuff. To me, intersectionality, it really starts answering the whys. You know,
Yes.
why I
Yes,
think
it
this
does.
way, why when I'm in this situation do I react this way, why, you know, all the, not all, but a lot of why questions. It shows the backing and the basis and the taught, whether it was a good teaching or a bad teaching or an indifferent teaching, of why I feel the way that I do about certain things. And
Yes.
it's really interesting when I'm around people that in just, I don't know, I'll go back a little bit. Being in, you know, I've lived in black neighborhoods, but I wasn't quite black enough, even though I'm part black. I've been around my family who is, you know, we're Lummi, we're native, but I'm not full, so I wasn't native enough. And then, you know, I'm part white, but obviously I'm not white enough. So that really molded what neighborhood I was in, how I reacted to things, and how I treaded. You know what I mean? Like, you can only say certain things in certain situations, certain neighborhoods that, you know, you couldn't say somewhere else, and vice versa. So it really, for me, it defined, I wouldn't say who I am, but the person that people saw me as depending on the situation, because I had to chameleon myself into different places. I'm like, on my stream, yeah, I'm obnoxious and I'm loud, but when I'm out and about, I don't want to be the one that stands out that everybody looks at. So I found ways to sort of melt in to each community or whatever it was that I was in, and I just feel that this is, I mean, this is the why. This is why I do that. You know, the intersection. I keep saying it wrong, but the word that you have.
Intersectionality.
Yes, that one. That's sort of the why I would go into a rich white neighborhood and stand up a little bit straighter and speak a little bit more proper and everything else. Whereas if I was in South Seattle, you know, with people where I sag my pants a little bit more, which to me is more comfortable, but I would fit in more doing that there than I would, say, in a place where the median income is, you know, $1.4 million a year, you know, so I gotta judge, and I don't know. I honestly, it was one of those things that I felt that it was neat that I could do it, but at the same time I hated I had to.
Okay, so
I just went way off on the
no, you're great. Let me start with this. It's really great. I fucking love this. I'm eating this all up. I'm gonna read through it back at you a little bit as well. So first of all, do you know where you are? You can say whatever the fuck you want to. I don't know why you're censoring yourself. I genuinely am confused about
because
that one.
I don't want to piss anybody off. Okay, like I know this is, like, for me.
Say whatever
my
the
stream
fuck you
is my
want.
work. So if somebody comes in and they say a bunch of shit that's gonna, like, disrupt, then I go, yo, this is my work, and I cut them off. I don't want to do that to you. You know what I mean? That's
What do
why
you
I was censoring myself.
What would you disrupt?
Well, I don't know if you have, depending on, and I know I've been in your stream a whole bunch, and I know you say whatever you want to say, but just out of the respect of, say in these, you didn't want a whole lot of cussing because it would mess with what you were doing. I don't want to mess with what you're doing. If you don't have a problem with it, I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say.
Say whatever the fuck you want to say. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. I don't listen. Okay. Number one rule. Maki! What the heck? Another raid? What the hell is this? Maki! How's it going? Welcome in, Raiders. How's it going, Maki? I hope you're super well. Welcome into Mental Health Monday. Welcome into the Waba fam. Welcome into your mental health talk space and queer safe space. How are you all doing, Raiders? Welcome in. We're Mental Health Monday. We got Pochfad here and his lovely, lovely wife, Starr, guesting. We're talking about intersectionality, identity, and mental health in general. Also, I'm looking for a guest on the 18th, and I forgot to say that previously, but like, you know. Maki, what's good? You doing anything the 18th? No pressure.
You know, it's funny you said that. I was gonna say, if nobody else does and you want to part 2 this, I'm totally down. Yes, I'm fangirling out right now.
I'm really happy to hear that, honestly. I kind of would like that. I've reached out to so many people, you have no idea.
Hey, and honestly, if you need another person for PTSD or severe anxiety, I'm your girl.
Yes, I can't write you down. Regulars. All right, okay. I can't write. I would love regulars. I love regulars. I can't write you down right now because my phone is acting as the cat cam. This is Angel, by the way, for the person who redeemed Show Angel. This is one of the 4 cats that we have. Cyber, I know you redeemed Show Angel, Show Nero. I see that. Doing good, tired, just be happy. For those in chat that still don't get it, intersectionality is basically all the interlocking things that makes you who you are. Yes, absolutely. You be down for the 18th? All right, we're gonna get all 3 of you. I know I don't like 3, but like I love Maki.
If Maki wants to do it, go ahead. I'm just saying, if anybody cancels, I'm available.
But we're always available.
We'll talk. We'll talk after stream.
Cool. Cool.
Baka Pickles, welcome in as well with the Maki raid. How y'all doing? I'm gonna get a shout out for Maki real quick. It's not gonna do the fancy one, but yeah, everyone check out Maki. Yeah. Amazing artist.
So I'm not gonna lie. My mod duties just like took over, and I actually reached for my phone so that I could do the shout out, and I forgot I wasn't in Poch's stream.
I mean. Yo, what's good, Maki? Yeah, we're doing intersectionality this whole month, so we'll chat after stream. I'll PM you. All right, so yeah, let me reel it back. So Poch, like, Watch just got done saying his piece about intersectionality, and I started with saying like, hey, you can say whatever the fuck you want to. I don't care. It's not going to disrupt anyone. It's not going to offend anyone. And I was going to go into like one of the first rules of Mental Health Monday is literally it's unscripted. I allow guests to say whatever the fuck they want to. If something is pertaining to some sort of story that might potentially be triggering, I tell them you can say it with your full fucking chest. You know, if we need to like pat it a little bit and just be like, hey, if this is something that like might be triggering to you, you know, please, you know, feel free to mute, feel free to like exit the stream, come back later, you know, by all means. I try to keep this as safe as space, but this is the consent that's going on here. I let people know that this is what's happening. This is the talk. What is intersectionality? Glad you asked, Funky. Glad you asked. So that's literally what we're talking about today. Intersectionality, as Pochfad so elegantly put it, is kind of the why. It's the why of why do I do this? Why do I act this way? Why does this person act this way? What's going on? They got into they were talking about how they got into psychology because they really wanted to know why they did certain things. So like even as a kid, which is like amazing that you had such an interest in that topic from such an early age. It's an amazing passion, man. But yeah, it's that intersectionality is the interlocking things that make you who you are. So what I mean is I have this chart here up next to me, which I was using to illustrate intersectionality. So intersectionality is basically all your connecting identities. So intersectionality is identity. It's your race, it's your ethnicity, it's your gender identity, it's your class, it's your language that you speak, religion, your ability, your disability, sexuality, mental health, age, education, body size, so many things. It's a lot of things. It's all that and more. It's that way, yeah. It's all that and a basket full of fish. You know, this says intersectionality is a lens which you can see where power comes and collides, where it locks and intersects. It is the acknowledgement that everyone has their own unique experiences of discrimination and privilege. Everyone has privilege. Everyone has experienced some discrimination in their life one way or another. It all interconnects. It happens. Like, my identity, I put it out there. I make this a very public thing about myself. I have a load of different identities that I associate myself with. One of those I don't really like talk necessarily, quote unquote, openly about is just the mere fact I'm white. I pass as cis-sexual, as cis and heterosexual. Sorry, cisgender and heterosexual. Messed up my words. Basically means someone looks at me on the street and they're like, straight white male. And I'm like, you're so wrong. But you know, I pass as that. So I am afforded a lot of privileges, and my life is not going to be any for the worse because of those privileged identities in our society. That's how intersectionality works. Now, can I be discriminated against still in other aspects in my life? Yeah, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Mental health wise, sexuality wise, gender identity wise, absolutely I could be subjected to that. And other stuff too, other identities we haven't even dove into. That's what intersectionality is about. It's about understanding that why. I love that you said that, Poch like watch. Wait, what? I'm dyslexic.
You're good. Don't worry.
So I love that you said why. Because it's funny, because in my training, master's mental health counseling here, not licensed, not going to go for it, not enough spoons for that bullshit and red tape. But, you know, one of the things that we're taught in that master's class is why is a very dangerous question. It can really, like, activate a client in a very negative way. You never really want to ask why questions. You want to ask, what made you feel that way kind of questions, right? You know, what is going on here? You can't ask why. So I think it's really great that you're so open to the why.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're great.
It's like I learned that the exact same thing in college, right?
Really?
Like the why was almost like the naughty word. You know, like if you're really trying to help somebody, you have to dig around it. It's almost like that's the one you can't touch. And for me, the whole reason, like literally the reason why I got into psychology, I was probably 17 years old. I'd been homeless for about 2 years roughly at that point. And I did things. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, why the hell did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. That shouldn't have been my reaction. Why? And that was what triggered me into, I used to go to libraries because it was warm, right? To me, it was a gold mine because I could go in there and study why. Like that was where I found the psychology section. And I was just like, I'm going to stay in here all winter long. And it was one, kept me warm, but two, I read why I did all the dumb shit that I did, you know, lack of better words. And I think, and I get why they say don't ask why.
Yeah.
But it's kind of because it's too much of a point, and sometimes people can't take that point into themselves. I felt that it was something that I needed to do. Was instead of beating around the bush, I needed to point directly at myself and go, why? Why did you do this?
All right. Sorry.
No. Go ahead, please.
Small little trick here in regards to being a therapist and therapy in general and just people in general. Everyone likes to point the finger at everything else before they point it at themselves. Yep. And this is why why I value responsibility so fucking highly, especially in this community. Because at the end of the day, people need to be accountable for their shit, frankly. Like, you gotta own your shit.
Yes.
And this goes for so many different avenues of owning your shit, say so to speak. That it can go for negative stuff for sure, and that's usually what people associate with, but it can also accommodate for positive stuff. Like, yeah, I did that. I did do this project. I did work on that video. I did that. That's amazing, and it's really fucking powerful too. It's a very powerful tool. And why? Yes.
I just saw in chat.
Yes, tends to sound accusatory.
Yes, but it is though.
It is,
and that's the whole thing. Is that if you did something, you did it. Like that's me. I know that you have to be more gentle with people and soft, but me personally, like I was in the doctors in the hospital, and I didn't go in early enough, and the doctor was like, "You just starting stages of having a heart attack." And I was like, "Doctor, be blunt." And he was like, "You're stupid. You should have been in here earlier." And I'm like, "Thank you."
Thank you. Yeah.
Like, thank you. Like, be honest and blunt with me. And it's my personality. And I know not everybody is the same, but it's one of those things that, yes, if I did it, accuse my ass because I did it and make me fess up to it and take responsibility for it. That's just my mindset, which I realize isn't everybody else's. And I've had to learn how to calm that down. Because I react differently to it. If you accuse me of something, you go, "You did this," I'll be like, "Holy shit, did I do that? My bad."
Same.
Fuck you! Don't tell me what I did. Like,
oh my god.
The
backlash, the defensive, getting defensive, right?
Because people are so scared to say sorry and take responsibility because of whatever intersectionality, whatever variables showed them that you can't do that because you're going to get hurt. Usually it's that defensiveness. Like, if I take responsibility for this and admit that I just did XYZ, I'm going to get hurt, so I better attack them first. And it's sad that is the variable that made them. I don't want to say made them, because like they had no choice, but it directed them to want to react that way.
No, for sure.
Where, like, I just, in my mind, I'm like, just say, "Oh, I did. I'm sorry," or "Oh, I did. How can I learn from this?" Or "Oh, I did. What can I do to change your fix?" Or whatever the responding thing is. But I don't have a problem if I hurt somebody's feelings and they're like, "Dude, you hurt my feelings." I'm gonna humble myself the best that I can and go, "I'm sorry I hurt your feelings." But I noticed not everybody, they want to be like, "Well, you hurt my feelings first," and it's like, whoa. Take the accusatory, because that's what it is, and then fix it. Rectify the situation, work from there.
So like 3 different points I want to make from that now. Is a lot of times when people take it as an accusatory, you have to realize that's on them. That's not you. That's not you, dude. That's 100% on them, and that's their shit, and they have to sit with their shit. You don't. You just pointed it out, and that's not a bad thing. And then the other thing is, like, I get it, and I definitely am right there with you about, like, having to, like, kind of tone it down a bit sometimes for certain, groups of people. And I get, like, we're all in different places in life. We're all, different with our mental health stuff. We got some similarity stuff, and that's what the sense of community here is that we're all struggling. We're all going through life. We're all just trying to grow and learn. But I really need people that want to be my community. I need them to be at that point of, like, I'm willing to listen and learn, as opposed to just react and just kind of like kick back and be, whine and complain and this, that, and the other thing, and there definitely is legitimate reason to want to whine, complain about stuff. But when it comes to owning your shit, I don't really tolerate that too much. I don't. Like, I need people to take responsibility, and I need people to want to grow. I find it very frustrating to interact with folks that don't want to grow, and a lot of people might hear that and might want to react and say, "But Waba, I got all this stuff going on in my life. I can't grow right now. I'm trapped." And it's like, I'm not directing it at you, though. I know you're going through shit. Life is shit. It throws a lot of wrenches in our faces, and sometimes we can't move forward because we're stuck because of other factors. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to take control of what you can take control of. Yes. Take the reins in your own life. Do what you can, not what you can't, what you can. Treat yourself with kindness, but take responsibility for what you can, because I think there's a lot more that you can be proud of than you could even, you know, begin to try to list out right now. I think
Another
people don't give
point,
themselves enough credit, you know? Yeah, go for it.
another part to taking responsibility for your actions is also making sure that you have a good support system behind you.
Yes.
I've got
Hi.
Poch. I have Poch. Poch is the most amazing support system that anybody could ever ask for. When I got to him, what, 3 years ago now? Holy crap, it's been 3 years. Um, almost 3 years ago now, he found me as scared, angry, bitter, vicious. I would attack people. I was just a nasty, nasty person.
You weren't that
And
nasty.
I was bad. I was really bad.
Not to
And
me.
over the next few years, he was patient and worked with me and taught me how to take responsibility for my feelings and my actions and the things that I was doing. And he taught me how to apologize to people. He taught me how to change my point of view to where I am now, in a much better and healthier place. Even though I still have my issues, I still have my anxiety attacks, there's nothing I can do about it, and I realize that. And I still have my nightmares. Like last night, I think I got, what, 2.5 hours of sleep. But he's there for me, and having that support system is just as important as taking responsibility for your actions and reminding yourself on a regular basis that for every action that you have, there is always going to be an opposite and an equal reaction. Yes, dear.
I just wanted you said a lot of nice things about me, but this is what I want to say.
Aw.
You did it all.
Yeah.
You didn't have to change. I could have spoken till I was blue in the face. It would have meant nothing unless you did all of those things. So I'm not taking any credit for them because you were the one that had to do them. I can't change you. I can't make you do anything. You're a grown ass woman that does what a grown ass woman wants to do. I just want to place that right there. This is one thing that I think is beautiful about her, besides that she's beautiful, is that taking like and just going into some of the stuff we were just talking about, some people will get handed, this is what you can work on for yourself. And they look at it and they go, fuck that, and put it in a jar and don't do anything about it, even though they have it.
There's a
This
lot of
is a
those out
person-
there.
Oh yeah, no, this is a person right here that was like, fuck that. And I'm like, you don't need to say fuck that. Okay. And then started making changes that like I've I've wished to see changes like this in so many other people, and actually being able to see it happen. I'm like, this is, I want to write a fucking book on this person right now, because this right here is like a blueprint that so many people can follow. I'm just saying, like, you actually did it. Like, I want to give credit where credit's due. You actually did it. You know, there was, because I can sometimes be brisk and go, hey, you know, and then do the accusatory. You did this, we need to work on it. And instead of you going, you're like, okay, and did. You fucking did. Like, I'm sorry, to me, that I'm like, mind blown, you fucking did. And I'm just like, holy crap, okay. Like, now what do I do? I haven't gotten past this part before.
But
I didn't expect to get this far.
That's where having that amazing support system comes in.
Mhm.
If anybody else had told me that this is the stuff that I needed to do, I probably would have ripped their throats out. To be completely honest, I really would not have listened to anybody else, but it took somebody who genuinely actually cared about me and was there and was supportive for me to actually listen, and it took me wanting to do it.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna say that if you didn't. It's you wanted to do it. You wanted to do it. You wanted to change. You know, you wouldn't have said, okay, yeah, you're right, if you didn't want to change. You know, this was someone that cared about you. This is insanely wholesome, by the way. Can I just say that? Like, y'all are fucking adorable. I love it. But like, yeah, that's big. That's huge. The want to change, and this is something that I talk about a lot. And like, obviously, I pitch the Waba fam as a support system as well. It definitely can be a support system. We fucking back people up. We fucking check in with each other. We fucking say like, hey, did you go to that appointment? How did it go? What happened? Did you advocate for yourself? All right, why not? Why? What happened there?
I love the dude. That just gave me fucking chills. I'm dead serious. Like, Oh, like, because a lot of people don't have that. Like, a lot of
And
people don't have that, and you probably have a
that's
ton of
why.
people in your stream and in your Discord
Mhm.
that don't have it outside of it.
Exactly.
So I fucking love that.
That's literally why I made the community in the first place. Is I'm like, people don't have a fucking place to be safe. People don't have a fucking support system. I
Can you
need to
see
make
it?
this.
Can you fucking
Yes.
see it? Like, seriously, that
Chicken
just
skin.
like gave me goosebumps. Like, that is
This
awesome.
freaking guy right here, I was checking on his Discord earlier looking for the channel for me to go into to wait. He actually has medication reminders in there for people to take their medications.
Yes, I do. If you want to sign up for those, you have to react to the role. I'm so sorry for the folks that reacted to the role, and I haven't added you to that as well. Also, let me know for the medication thing. You just let me know if you want me to send another reminder for you, because I'll just like make it specifically so it @s you specifically at certain times.
Awesome.
I can set that up. Yeah.
That is
shit.
amazing.
Yeah.
That
I try to help
I'm
out.
sorry. I'm like, because okay. So here's the thing: is in going back with the intersectionality.
Yeah.
Like,
Bring it
like
back.
you get molded, and honestly, in the just I'm using for lack of better words, in the white community, you didn't really talk about that. Like, if you have to take meds, you secretly do it, and you do it with vodka. You know, like you just don't fucking talk about it. And in the black community, there were no problems, right? There you absolutely didn't talk about it. In the native community, everybody said you had fucking problems, so if you did, it didn't matter. So having something like that where you're like, look, we're going to freely and openly talk about, I have to take meds for this, and I have to take meds, and here's I can help remind you. Like, to me, that's a whole, like, mind blown. Like, wait a minute. Like, the only reminder that I have is this, right? Like, nobody else, well, Starr there helps me out, which is still blows my mind. But the fact that you have somebody that will go, hey, in a non-judgmental kind of way, like this is the way I'm seeing your intersectionality, is that you've seen, okay, we can do this in a non-judgmental kind of way, and people are starting to learn now that somebody will do that. You know, like, people are starting to get that oh wait, I don't have to be fearful or ashamed or hide this part of me, because it's not going to be judged. And like, you're literally, with your culture that you're building, changing people's mindset on how they're doing things. I freaking love that.
I hope I am. I really do hope to change mindsets. I hope to change norms. Like, my big fucking goal, like, literally ever since I went into college, is like, I want to get rid of stigma for mental health. Straight up. Like, I think stigma for mental health is like the biggest fucking hold back on society's growth as a whole. Like, if I really am gonna fucking talk super grandiose here, but genuinely, and that's why I start with like basics of just like self-care and check in with each other, be a supportive community to each other, because if we can start there, if we can start at home, say, so to speak, and we can take care. All right, ready for Waba spiel time? Okay, think about it for a second. If you're taking care of yourself, if you're doing well in life, and you're learning to interact with people while doing better for yourself, your interactions overall through the course of your lifetime are going to be more positive. And with those more positive interactions, that spreads out to all the people that you interact with, which now in turn spread out to all the people that they interact with, etc., and so forth to infinity. So if the world takes care of its fucking self and is secure in their self, and secure in their mental health, secure in their safe spaces, secure in their self-care, then the world can heal collectively. We can become the better society that we want.
Dude, that needs to be on a plaque. Seriously, like, that
would be a really big
beautiful
plaque.
I don't care. Look, look. So what you were saying, it just made me think about when I was in between 16 and 18.
Right.
Like I said, I was homeless in between 15 and about 20, off and on throughout there, and it was no fault of my own, and that's a fun, lovely story that got me there. But in between that time, I was a skater kid. All I did was skate, So I looked the part, I was the part, I did the stuff, and I would go skate in these not industrial, like business parts of downtown Seattle. And there would be a lot of people walking around in three-piece suits and very posh and fancy. And they're probably going to go hop in their Mercedes and drive home. And I'm walking around. I'm not asking them for anything, but I'm saying hi to people.
Mm-hmm.
right? My friends are like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just saying hi."
I'm
Like
just
I
being
passed
friendly.
them. You're right. And one of my friends, we were sitting down, and they're like, "Seriously, why do you do that?" And I was like, "Honestly, what goes through my head every time I see somebody is I have no idea if that dude's on
Mm-hmm.
his last fucking string. He is had
Exactly.
it up to here. He's gonna go home and he's gonna kill his entire family, commit suicide, and doesn't give
Mm-hmm.
a fuck."
Mm-hmm.
And I could have just said, "Hey," and he could have been like, "Holy crap! Like I have
Someone noticed
2.8
me.
million dollars in the bank. This little gutter-looking kid just gave me a positive." And it could change their mindset. It
Mm-hmm.
may have never happened, but it may have happened 100 times. I don't know.
It's
But to me, it
butterfly
was like,
effect, man.
right, like if I can affect that one person, his 3 kids are still going to be alive, and probably know one of them could cure cancer. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right, you
the
never
the
know.
amount that could go from there
Mm-hmm.
is endless.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why not?
You never
Like,
know where someone is at, so that's why it's so important to always be kind. And if you can't be kind, zip it. Frankly, I
hold on,
don't,
I'm gonna be right
yeah,
back.
that's fine.
Yeah, it's one of those. If you don't have anything nice to say, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, sincerely, I think it can only hurt when you're just mean and vicious to other people, or you're vindictive and this that, and the other thing. There's all sorts of different ways to be angry about it, angry at the world, and I get that. But I think lashing out is it's not the way, and you have it. And again, it's one of those introspection things. When it comes to anger, anger is a very strong emotion. Where is that coming from, and why is it coming from there? What's going on for you? It's often not anger that's at the forefront. It's something else. It's usually fear sometimes. Um,
Or
Here, hurt.
sometimes, like,
fear, hurt.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, in my case, it was hurt.
yeah.
Um, when I got to Potch, it was all hurt because I had just gotten myself out of a extremely, what was it, mentally and like emotionally abusive relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I was hurt, and it made me act out and made me act angry, and I do take responsibility for those emotions that I acted out on people, and
Mm-hmm.
it was my fault because I could have acted differently. Even though I'm hurt, I could have acted differently.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, going back to the intersectionality,
Mm-hmm.
it really does mold some of your perceptions on your relationships. Even, having Podge, who's an amazing person, who's supportive and loving and caring and is always there, and anything I need, the man will run out and go get.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from that relationship where it was just constant abuse and constantly being hurt into this, there was a lot of times where I would compare the two of them, and I would get angry at him if something didn't go my way, even though it wasn't his fault. It was mine.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It really does. It changes your perspective on everything, having the different things happen to you. And going back to what he said, he's black, white, and native. I'm white and native.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look native. I look 100%
You're very
my
white passing.
German, very German Dutch family. I
Right.
am very white passing.
Happy
love the red hair, though.
International Happy Native Day though.
Yeah, Indigenous Day.
Fuck
I love it.
Indigenous Day.
Yeah, that's my
Fuck
day.
fuck Columbus. Happy Indigenous Day. Also,
Columbus.
it's apparently National Coming Out Day as well. So
Oh,
yeah.
I'm pansexual.
Yo, same. What's good? All right. Listen, everyone in chat. We gotta go bow down to Twitch Daddy for a minute and a half. So take this minute and a half, get some water for yourself, get a snack, all right? And, chill out. We won't say anything too important while we're gone here, all right? So we'll be right back, minute and a half. I'll see you then. Boop. People in the stream might not get the ad. It's very inconsistent, by the way. So if you hear me, cool. If you don't, oh well. It's okay. I have 5 different threads I'm going on right now as well. I have notes in my chat that I'm making because I have threads to go back to talk about that I really want to discuss with you too because this is awesome. It's amazing talk. I love y'all.
Dude, I love, like, seriously, I love being. I've been excited about this ever since you first proposed it.
Yeah, me
Like
too, actually.
yeah. I'm like a kid in a beer store, or sorry, kid in a candy store, just like super excited about it.
Y'all are great.
See, I don't
It's
know if you
so
can see this. It might be backwards, but this is the one I did last Indigenous People Day. This is my tribe, Lummi.
lummy.
Yeah, so this is
Yo,
one that I did with some of the traditional. It's the first time I ever did our traditional art, but I
that's
wanted to keep it
amazing.
to the colors and everything. It was a lot of fun.
Actually, if you look above his head, there's
Oh, there's
the
my
harvester
like
right there too.
The
for our
red.
family. Yeah,
Wow.
and it keeps going down lower. But this was there was a huge paddle that was done, and they took their canoes like way out into the ocean. It was over a matter of weeks, and one of the places that they stopped was in at our res, and they had all of these. And my brother actually gave me that, which I was genuinely surprised. Um, so I was pretty stoked to get it. Like it's a piece of family that I have because I'm not super close to that side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like a piece of the family that I can hold on to, and I can just look at, pretend that they're wonderful, great, supportive, loving people. Again,
Poch is my
intersectionality,
family.
how we got molded.
Okay, we're good. We're up. We're up back.
Are we
Everyone should be
back?
back. Yeah. All right. All right. We're gonna go through these 5 threads now. Um. And I catch up with chat as well, so I think I got everything so far. Have a good night, Jeffrey, by the way. Have a good night. Also, the Bear Project, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you big time, all right? If you don't know who the Bear Project is, they're another amazing podcaster. They talk about mental health, talk about religion. I know they have a lot of amazing guests on, so definitely give him a check out sometime. I'll get a shout out for him going in a minute here. But yeah, all right, so here's your threads. Also, welcome in, Sam, and have a good night, Cam Gear, as well. And I think I caught up with everything else. All right, so here's the threads that I wanted to talk on. Someone brought up narcissists, actually, which is interesting because we were talking on people not owning their shit. So Cyberdactyl thought of, think of some narcissist, plays victims, put it on you instead of admitting or something they did. They just said something, Why, let's think intersectionality wise. Why do narcissists exist in a society? Why do narcissists exist in a society? My first thought, just to start this off a little bit, my first thought is I think narcissism is effectively just privilege gone to the extreme. People get it in their heads that they're supposedly like owed something in society, and this goes for a lot of different kind of things. There's some sort of like, oh well, obviously I deserve the best because of XYZ whatever for reasons, I always, I was the mama boy, I was the mama girl who always got whatever the fuck I wanted, so why shouldn't I continue to get whatever the fuck I want? And if anyone says otherwise, obviously they're lying, and they turn into a manipulative narcissistic person. That's my take.
Lines
That
up
was
with
my
delusion
ex.
to me.
I mean, it is. I mean, privilege, white privilege particularly, is a very delusioned point of view. Of just kind of like, oh, we gotta uphold societal norms and stuff. And when you think about critical race theory, it's all about that. It's all about challenging those assumptions and challenging, okay, but why is it this way? Again, it's that why, but no one wants to talk about the why. No one wants to hear the why.
Don't bring up the past. The past is over. Just keep living because that's how it always
Yeah,
has
the
been.
past is over, honey. Well, I don't remember it. I don't remember it that way. It's like, listen, okay, this is something I will say regarding the past and when it comes to narcissists. Hi, r/raised by narcissism here. Most of my community know that I fucking hate my mother, and I don't talk to her at all anymore. Here's the thing: the victim, or their survivor, I suppose in this case, I like that wording better. Their survivor will always remember exactly the feelings that are associated with the trauma. Not necessarily specific details always, but you'll always remember the feelings. And the person who did it to you doesn't remember a goddamn thing.
Right?
Because it doesn't matter to them, because it didn't happen to them.
Right.
And if you bring it up, they're just like, it wasn't anything. It didn't matter. They downplay
because it didn't affect them.
Didn't affect them. So it doesn't mean
Like,
anything.
when I brought it up to my ex, because my ex is a narcissist,
Mm.
when I brought everything up to him, he immediately, and you can ask Potch because he was on the phone with me the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
immediately turned everything around and started blaming me for everything that happened in our marriage.
Wow.
Because it was a one-sided event. There was only one person there, apparently.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
also
I
like
was
talking
being
to brick
sarcastic.
walls. I also like talking to brick walls.
Right? Right. You know, it's funny
Oh
what
my
you
God.
said about how,
Mhm.
how the other person, it doesn't affect them at all.
Mhm.
There's a very specific memory I have. I'm you and I are twinsies when it comes to the mother thing.
Oh really? Hey, what's good?
Yeah. Like, not the best thing to be twinsies on, but you know, we got that.
I mean, all right, listen, I've said this before. I think I don't. How old are you?
44.
All right, what's good? You're technically Gen X, I think, but like,
Yes,
I
am.
think Gen X and millennials a lot of times we kind of bond over our trauma a lot, especially
Right?
millennial generation. It's just like
Yeah.
hey, what's up? I just met you. Here's my traumatic backstory, TM, and then 5 months later, it's like, oh yeah, here's a picture of me, and it's just like, wait, you have a dog? I didn't know. Oh yeah, I have 2 dogs, 5 tarantulas, and 7 snakes. What?
I know all the times that your mother beats you, but I had no idea you like ferrets. What's going
Right.
on?
What's going on with that?
But there was one moment that, and there was a lot of them, but there was one moment,
Mhm.
and it just you saying that they have no recollection. So we had, like, I lived with my dad and my stepmom and my brother, my older brother, in Northern California for a couple of years, and my mother was still in Southern California. And everybody knows in the family, everybody knows that my older brother is the golden boy. Like, we literally call him golden boy to his face because everybody knows.
Okay.
And you know, that's my mom's chosen, right? That's her chosen one. And mind you, she has 4 kids.
Right.
So me and my brother were in Northern California. My brother, we lived at a KOA campground, and
What is that?
he called her KOA. It's like campgrounds all across the U.S. Like, most people go and they'll rent a KOA campground space for a week to go camping.
Sure.
We lived in a trailer in the mountains at a KOA campground.
Damn.
We weren't affluent by any means. I loved it. As in between the ages of 6 and 10, I got to frolic through the wilderness all the time. So
Oh shit, so you
some
probably had a
people
great
look at
time.
it, yeah. Some people look at it as like, oh my goodness, you lived in a trailer, you were poor. And I'm like, I fucking loved it. We trapped salamanders. We, did all this kind of crazy
Yo.
stuff. So I loved it.
That's great.
But anyway, there was a payphone.
Dude, I do that now.
And
Hell yeah.
and my brother had called my mom collect, right?
Mhm.
And he was, because at the KOA they have like a little game room and then a place where people can, use the payphone. So he's talking to her, and I'm riding my bike around, and I have to stay close because, mind you, I'm 6, 7 years old, so I can't just take off into the woods by myself on my bike. So I'm riding in circles for like a half an hour, being like, "Come on, dude, like, get off the phone." And I just remember him going, "Hey, you want to say hi to mom?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, holy crap, she wants to talk to me. And
Yeah.
at age 6, I was excited, like, it's not normal she wants to talk to me. Like, I didn't
Oh
realize
no.
that,
Oh
but it was already
yikes.
there, like, oh my goodness,
Oh.
she wants to talk to me.
Oh
So I
no.
hopped on the phone and I'm like, "Hey, hi, mom." And
Right.
she's like, "Hey, are you having fun? Blah, 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 blah." About a 2-minute conversation. She's like, "I really gotta go though. I hope you have a good day. Love you." And I remember hanging up the phone going, that couldn't have been more than a couple of minutes. And I've been riding around here for, anywhere from a half hour to an hour while she spent all this time talking to you. And she couldn't get off the phone fast enough after and it's 6, 7 years old.
Wow.
It like, I acknowledged the fact that I wasn't enough. Like, I was not enough. There was nothing about me that was anywhere close to being what it was that I was supposed to be for her to like me. And like, and I know that moment, like, not just her, but like, I've had a huge issue with even giving a crap about females in general because of that damage. Like, well, I'm never going to be enough to you, so fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing that I've had to work through. But I know that while I've had to work through that for 30 years after that, she probably will never remember that conversation. She'll probably never
Nope.
remember that phone call even existed. And so you saying that, like, they don't even give a shit, it's affected me to where I'm still talking about it almost 40 years later. and she'll probably have zero recollection that it ever even happened. So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy looking at it at that point. You know, like the person that did it, they don't give a shit. They don't remember it, but it will affect you for who knows how long until you've addressed it.
I think this is also a very, very great example of intersectionality and of the power of abuse, frankly. You know, you said you're 40 fucking 4, dude. That shit happened to you 38 years ago and it's still affecting you today.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away,
No.
kids, you know? That shit, you were carrying that kind of trauma with you all throughout your life. It came up with every single interaction now, especially with other women. You know?
100%.
It's the why.
There's a number of things that because of that one specific person, that there was a period, I'd say, in between 25 to almost 30, that my friends knew me as going, yeah, I fucking hate women. Like they're just all
Damn.
they want to do is use you. They want to take what you have. You're never gonna mean enough. You're not shit to them. So fuck them. They don't matter.
Not gonna
And
lie,
like that was,
I would not have hung out with you, dude. I couldn't do that.
I'm not saying like, and that was
Yeah.
like, to me, I realized like, and it was only my closest friends.
Right.
You know, there was like 4 or 5 people that know that I ever felt that way, because I wasn't the type of person that was like, I'm not an abusive person. Like I don't yell, I don't hit, I don't do any of that stuff. Well, okay.
Mhm.
Let me say, I try my best not to be an abusive person. If I've
Right.
ever done it to anybody, then I apologize and I will take responsibility for it. I just didn't
Absolutely.
realize I was doing it. So I'll preface it with that. I'm not perfect.
Sure. No, it's...
I mean, in that category, I mean, I'm perfect everywhere else. Anyway, but
Agreed.
sorry, I was kidding. But it was for me, those years that I was like that.
Mhm.
I actually like broke down, like not with anybody else, like within
Mhm.
myself, because I challenged myself on a lot of things psychologically.
Right.
That was another why. Like, why do you say, like, dude, fuck females? Like, why do you say that?
Right.
What is the point of being so angry at somebody you've never met and assuming that they're going to screw you over? Like,
Wait, hold on.
The point of that?
Hold up. All right, I'm sorry, but like that's a fucking really great quote. I'm gonna add that right now. What is the point of what was it? What was the point of being angry?
Or of thinking that somebody's going to fuck you over that you don't know, or like, you know, hating somebody that's never done anything to you. I don't know exactly what I said, but I know it's like, what's the point of that?
I'm just
And
letting you
that's
talk
what I had
away.
to.
I'm gonna marker that. I'm gonna play it back. I'm gonna add it as the proper quote, but I'm gonna add that for now. Because God, that's so fucking topical in like the worst ways. Because so you said that, and so I watch YouTube Shorts and TikToks, right? YouTube Shorts, unfortunately, for some reason or another, Google thinks that I'm a white nationalist or something. Because I've been getting fucking YouTube Shorts from what's his shit fucking eating
Shapiro?
grin face? What's his name?
Shapiro?
Yes, Ben fucking Shapiro. And I keep getting fucking Ben Shapiro YouTube Shorts, and I can't help but like watch in horror as he's just like something is like something about like, oh, neo pronouns are so awful, like what the fuck, it's like weird and shit. And I'm like, bruh, why are you so angry at people that don't fucking affect your life? Like,
And that's, dude, talking about intersectionality, that dude needs to look at himself and say, why am I like this? I have argued with him. He never heard me because he was on YouTube, but I have verbally been like, you are a fucking moron. What are you talking about? Like,
Dude, sitting
like,
with Potch, watching that kind of stuff on YouTube is the most humorous thing, and it's so entertaining because he sits here and he yells at the top, and he's like, "You're fucking stupid."
Literally, Frankie sits here and watches fucking like r/relationships or like r/stories, and will like yell at the computer and be like, "Babe, this one has this and this and this," and I'm like, babe, I'm literally in the middle of streaming, so I literally have a command for it. You can pull it up right now. !Frankie in the chat. All right, someone, I don't care who. It's fucking there. It's fucking there. It's great. It's the best fucking command I ever added.
See, I'll do
It's not
that.
with a
I'll do
Y.
that, but also I'll
I
explain to them, which obviously they can't hear me, but psychologically why what they're saying is wrong. Like I will start therapy with them, even though they can't hear me, to go, look, I know that you had a traumatic experience. I know that
right.
so and so hurt you. I get
Aw.
it. You know, and like because my goal, honestly, my goal, if I could talk to everybody in this world, was to be like, look, don't take this shit person out on this
Right.
shit person. All right, don't do that. You know, it because all you're gonna do is make something worse. You're gonna add something where it was never supposed to be there, and it just
Absolutely.
like I don't like using the word fix because I don't want to like, oh, I'm gonna fix somebody.
I
No.
used to be that way though.
I want to mold them
Yeah.
to evolve into the better person that they can be.
I think we have
Like,
to be careful because you know, I think I used to have like the kind of like hero complex mentality of like,
It's
you know,
true.
I want to save the world, but you know, you can't save the world.
You can't,
People have to choose to want to heal at the end of the
That's
day.
exactly it.
And
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
See, this is seriously how I differ from the both of you, because the both of you are like, yeah, let's just sit and talk this out and we can figure it out and we can have a conversation. I'm like, I'm just gonna punch you in the throat. Like,
You're
a
Frankie.
good punch.
You're Poch's Frankie. Oh my god, the similarity. Frankie will never come on this show, but Frankie is definitely the punch. I'm just gonna fucking kill them. Like, that is Frank. I love it.
Okay,
This is great.
I did agree with Thanos when, and this is getting nerdy, but look, sometimes, I mean, one, for the population, everybody disappeared, but if just the shitty people disappeared, life would get better around the planet, right?
No. Okay, so I have this theory that if we take all of the really dumb, fucking stupid people and put them on an island, and then just remove all the warning labels, our problems would be solved.
But the problem with that scenario, and I love it, and it's funny to laugh at, but the problem with that scenario is who decides that? Who decides what is objectively dumb or stupid? You know, you start to fucking roll into a dictatorship kind of a,
And we just
dystopia.
come back around.
You know, we just come back around. We're actually evil, you know, and also like not just that, but also fucking what does it mean when you like take someone? They tried to do this in the '60s to people who were disabled. They actually did do it to a lot of people who are disabled. They fucking neutered them. That's what the word is. There's a different word for it.
They castrated.
Castrated, yeah. Like castrate all the fucking cripples and disables and sterilized, yeah.
Well, this comes around to intersectionality, where that would be the deciding, like who decides who's dumb and who's not dumb and who's and they would only be able to decide by what they would learn throughout their life.
It's a who's in power. Who's in power.
So then we don't have to have one person decide. We can leave them all here and just remove warning labels here.
Do you just want to remove warning labels? We've talked about this.
Yeah, because honestly, they'll take themselves out.
And then
we won't have to make the decision because they made their own decisions.
And I like that he was saying that, it is funny to go that way. It just wouldn't be a reality.
Yeah. It's funny to think about, but yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I was trying to look at, somebody said something in chat.
I was gonna say
it's a very light Yagami outlook. I don't know what light Yagami is.
I was gonna say, MK, if you need to step away, do it, dude. Like, some of this stuff gets kind of heavy. And especially, I'm gonna start talking about some of the stuff that my family's done to me and, how they've molded and changed my life. Just because I'm not pure German and Dutch.
Don't say you're German too loud. Man. That reminds me of like my completely off the fucking walls, way too tired rant that I was having with Frankie last night.
Those are the best.
Bad. It wasn't good. I was overwhelmed for a bit, and then I got really like kind of like way over energetic, and just started going on a comedy rant about this, that, and the other that I'm not even gonna repeat here. It was that bad. I excuse myself because it's like I'm in this group. I can make these jokes, but not really to be repeated. Maybe on a Comedy Central special. Anyway, go on.
And we'll just like I love that this is the topic, the intersectionality, because it really does like what neighborhoods you grew up in, what communities you grew up in, what things you were a part of really do help mold. Like people dropping the N-bomb, right? Like, oh, you can't do that, you can't do that. With the people that I was around, like that was you didn't even pay attention to it because that's just a reference. That's like brother. That's like, hey guy. You know what I mean? So when I was around not that community, people were like, oh my goodness, can you say that? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm black. You know, like
right, and they probably look at you funny because they're like, are you?
Right. You know, and okay, I did want to say, and I know this is deviating from what we were just talking about.
No, it's fine.
When you were talking about the privilege.
Yes.
That we all have privilege.
Yeah.
I started going through my head because a lot of what's talked about is the opposite of that, right? Like, oh, well, if I'm in this neighborhood, bad things happen. If I'm here, bad things happen. And so I started looking back at my life, and I remembered this is one thing that I loved is that when I lived in Southern California, there was a lot of Hispanics, there's a lot of Mexicans, and there's certain neighborhoods that were very much, you know, Mexican neighborhoods. And because of the mix that I am, we could go from our house, and instead of having to go all the way around an extra mile or two to my friend's house, we went straight through this neighborhood that was known to be a very heavily Mexican gang neighborhood.
Right.
And we could go straight through there, and people would say stuff to us in Spanish, or we could just pass through. There was no big deal. And mind you, I didn't have a growth spurt till I was 15. So I was a 13, 14-year-old, 5'2", you know, little kid cruising through there. Never had a single problem. Our friends that were there genetically, there was something going on with them, but the shortest one was 6'1", right? The tallest one was like 6'7". They were very large, you know, blonde hair, blue-eyed kids, and there was 4 of them. They would get rocks thrown at them by girls going through these neighborhoods, right?
Wow.
And you couldn't say anything back because 42 cousins would come out and either kill you or just beat you to a bloody pulp. And I realized that was a thing that I could do that somebody else couldn't. That was a privilege that I had. My mixture of not white enough, not black enough, not native enough also put me in places where when I got to Hawaii, tattooed, chubby, and brown, people thought that I was Samoan or Hawaiian.
Right.
I've been in places where there's a lot of Middle Eastern people. People just assumed that I was. In Southern California, people thought that I was Spanish. Like, I could fit in, and that was something that I realized.
That's actually the next thing I wanted to talk about too, is the chameleoning that you mentioned, and like your first statement is that you could be a chameleon, you can blend in. You know, you weren't black enough for the black kids, you weren't white enough for the white kids, aren't Hispanic enough for the Hispanic kids, you know, etc. So forth.
And it was neat because in those I could, and I also learned to adapt because I was brought up, you know, like in you know, speaking, for lack of better words, proper English, you know, and very clear, but also I could turn on Ebonics. We ran into a guy from Hawaii at the Comic-Con, and even, you know, Starr pointed out that the pigeon came out, you know, from living in Hawaii. So, you know, talking to the guy, like, oh, cuz, how you doing? You know, like, it's just the different ways to fit in. I learned that kept me the safest. And that's really what it came down to for me, is that I was safe if I blended in. If I stood out, there's possibility of danger. And I'm not a person that looks for danger. I'm not a person that looks to fight. I train Muay Thai and I used to fight for money, but it doesn't mean I want to go into this and fight. You know what I mean? So if I can blend in quietly, and I'm not a small guy, you know, and I'm not afraid of people. I just prefer to have things be peaceful and everything else. So I learned how to blend in. And I know for me, it goes all the way back to just instinct, and I don't want to get hurt. I don't want for there to be a potential that something could happen where I have to either defend myself or, you know, anything like that. I just want to be happy and have everything be cool. So I learned rich white neighborhoods, how to blend in, because, you know, I've gotten kicked out of.
So you did it as a survival tactic, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it absolutely was survival. I was in a very, very, very wealthy home, and I didn't sell drugs, I didn't do drugs, I didn't smoke weed, I did nothing. Almost everybody there, including their kids, went out back to go smoke the weed that they had. I was like, oh, I don't smoke, I'm good. I ended up getting kicked out because the parents were like, well, that guy's probably the drug dealer. He's got to go. I was the only person of
Oh my
non-full
god.
white, right? And I left laughing because I was like, your kids are like, they were buying meth. They were, you know what I mean? I'm like, your kids are a bunch of freaking crackheads. I'm
Wow.
gonna leave. I'm out of here, you know. But it was I could still find ways to blend in even in those communities because there
Absolutely.
were some where when like I said, I was in the library all the time because of warmth and because of reading. Doing that really improved my vocabulary. So when I would be in some of these very wealthy, upper middle class to upper class homes, I would have a conversation on purpose with the parents, that own the home, specifically bringing up topics that I knew they were interested in or whatever. And they would sit back and be like, "How the fuck do you know about this?" And I did it because not researching them, but when their kids would talk about what mom and dad do, I would go, okay, let me learn a little bit. So if I ever go over there, they're not going to be like, oh, this fucking drug dealer hooligan. They're going to be like, wait a minute, he used, a 8-syllable word. This kid has some intelligence, and they would let me,
Right.
be in the situation instead of going, get the riffraff out of here. So it definitely was a survival thing. Especially when I was homeless, the amount of couches that I got to sleep on because of that exact thing, it was absolutely a survival thing.
Hmm.
Um, and it was, I don't know, I think I learned a lot from it that I liked. I don't know. I mean, like I look on it at it with a sense of pride that I was able to learn, adapt, and successfully do it. Did
Absolutely.
I want to? No, not really. I wanted to just be me and have people accept me, but that's just not a reality. At least it wasn't for me.
Hmm.
So, I changed it around to a sense of, instead of I have to do this because I'm not good enough, I'm doing this and I succeeded. Like I can go, yeah, I fucking did it. Like this is, I win. For lack of better words, I win. I did it.
So you did it for survivability. I did it mainly just because I wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere. Like, throughout high school, I was the social butterfly, literally going from group to group. During lunch, I would blend into each single group that I went to.
Mm.
And then when I got out of high school and I went into college and, I met my first ex-husband, I would blend in with all of them and I would do the things that they're doing and I would make myself into a different person for every single person that I spoke to.
Hmm.
And it was at a point up until I want to say like 32, I didn't even know who I was because I had blended in so much with everybody else that was around me just to feel like I was accepted and loved that I didn't even know myself as a person.
I have a crafted personality that I show each individual person that I crafted just for them so that they like me and accept me the most.
Exactly.
If you relate to this, you might have
When I stump
ADHD,
I stump
trauma,
her.
depression.
I stump her sometimes because she'll go, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, you pick. Like, we'll do anything you want to do, whatever you want." And sometimes she'll sit there for a long time, just like, because I'm trying to get her to,
Hmm.
instead of like, "I want to do what you want to do," because I've seen that she's done that. We've talked about that. That she molds to whoever she's around, to what they like to do and what they want to do, so that she'll fit in. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I want you to be you. So I'm not, and I've even done it, being a little shit, going, I'm not even going to talk. I'm not going to tell you anything that I care to do today until you've told me what it is you want to do, because I want her to be able to be her. I want what if she wants to go throw rocks at a tree, let's go fucking do it. Like whatever it is, I don't care. But I want her to, instead of going, oh, you want to do this, so we'll do this. No, no, no. What do you want to do? Like you. And I love that. I love watching her grow like that, because she's actually going, I want to go do this. And I'm like, oh my God, she said it. She said what she wanted to do. This is awesome.
That's awesome.
30, almost 35 years old, and I'm just starting to learn who I actually am and what I like to do.
And that's amazing because I think, man, like that not having identity thing, that identity crisis, is something that I've seen a lot of people that have gone through a lot of traumatic experiences have. You know, it's just like they never really determined who they were. They just kind of like fit whatever mold got them to the next, you know, meal, got them to the next day kind of thing, you know, what helped them get by. It's funny because I was gonna say chameleoning is not something I've really ever heard of as a white person. You know, I didn't really have to do that. I didn't have to fit in necessarily. I had a mask, but being autistic and not knowing I was autistic for 28 fucking years of my life, you know, it was wild to me to, you know, be anything other than myself, but I still had to do it because it's like, okay, well, clearly this interaction isn't gonna work with these people. I gotta get by still somehow. It's wild. The next thing that I had written down as to bring up was regarding pretty much everything that Make Art with Maki was saying regarding the Black community and like her experience a bit. And you know, we can talk with her as well next week about this, but you know, she echoed with you that growing up in the Black community, if you share that you're having mental problems or you need help, all we are told is that we're just crazy. We need Jesus from friends and family, or go to church. And it's,
Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah, talk on that.
I saw something that she said where you're shunned. Like the word she used, shunned, is like exactly. If you have a mental issue, most often you don't have, say, schizophrenia, you don't have a bipolar, you don't have any of those things. You're a crackhead. If you have an issue, you're a crackhead, and crackheads are shunned. You're a pariah. Go away. It's related to, and I've seen within my own family. I've seen within my own family that. Sorry, my train of thought just left. Hello? That was weird. Could have heard
Do
us
you want
fart.
me to, I'll go check and see if anybody's here.
Okay. Sorry, just lost my train of thought. Hey, look, a squirrel. But within my own family, if there's something wrong, right? If there's an issue that you have, that's where I was going with it. If there's an issue that you have, was it really the cat? The cat attacked the door because you wanted to say hi.
Yes.
Oh, hi. The cat attacked my door.
It was really cute.
Okay, so what I was saying is, oftentimes they would actually turn to alcohol, heroin, huffing paint, anything they could get their hands on, because it was easier to say I'm a crackhead than I have a mental issue, which to me was super. The more I learned about all the different things that go on mentally that affect you, and the chemical imbalances in your brain and everything else, the more I learned about it, the more it sort of broke my heart going, wait a minute, I had like 2 uncles and an aunt that had all these issues, but instead of going, I have these issues and getting help, they had to turn to drugs so that someone would get them help. Like that is one thing that I noticed within that part of my family, is that they would turn to alcohol and drugs to mask that, and that was one of the only ways that they could actually reach out and get help. And instead of going, hey, these are my mental issues, can somebody help me get to a doctor, or see a psychiatrist, or if they want to take meds, any of that sort of stuff, that was looked on in a negative light, but they were oftentimes put up with doing drugs and being an alcoholic. Like, it was like, oh, that's just our crackhead uncle. Still invite him to the barbecue. But if you're like, you're schizoaffective, nope, you need Jesus, you're not coming here. And it was really sad to see, especially now being on this side and learning what I've learned, of going, no, they were just, they had serious chemical imbalances in their brain that nobody would acknowledge, and they knew that the only way to get seen was to do something stupid like that. And it is, from what I've seen, and I always preface it with this, because I do not know every single Black person in every single Black community.
Absolutely.
And so I cannot speak for every single Black person community.
No, you
I can
can.
just speak for what I've seen.
You and your experiences, and that's all I ask you to do. Speak on your experiences.
And the reason why I say that, to make it clear, is that I don't want anybody to think that I'm going, well, all black people. No, because even if 99% of them,
as a representative of the white community, I'm sorry for the whites.
Like, you can't. But just from what I've seen, like that dysfunction right there, it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking that it's not a norm to go and say, I went into psychology. That's what I went to college for.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that side of my family was just like, why? I'm like, wait
why
a
not?
minute. What do you mean why? Because you're saying why is why you need to go see a psychologist. Like,
yeah, right.
No, like, come on now. Like,
yeah.
What do you mean why? Like, this is don't you want to have a healthier mindset? But that's the culture, at least, the part that I saw, that was the culture of, and just like she said, you will be shunned. You will absolutely be shunned and treated as just to draw a picture, a tattered, clothed, begging crackhead because you have a mental issue. And it's really sad. Like, it's really, really sad. And again, I'm not speaking for every community and every family and everything else,
mm-hmm.
but just from what I've seen, and with Mackie going, yep, this is what I've seen, that it's I think it's more common than it ever should be.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I mean, Maki did kind of like start talking about how like it is getting a little bit better. They see younger people kind of like leading that charge in the communities of, supporting mental health outside the community, having that love. I know another guest that I'm gonna have on here in November, Ron the Pharaoh. I don't know if you know him. No, you don't. You should.
I don't think so. I don't.
You should.
I think if I saw him, I might or might not, but I don't think so off the top of my head.
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, kitten is like clawing my arm to death.
Oh man, I can't spell his name. Fuck. Shit. I'll get it for you in a second here. But yeah, he talks a lot on. He's a big retro gamer, but when he wanted, because I invited him on the talking, he's like, actually, and I talked to him before in a stream, and he's like, actually, I see a lot of support in my community, in my black community that I've experienced. I've experienced a lot of love and stuff, and like brotherly love, kind of like, wow, awesome. You're going through this stuff.
That is amazing.
It is amazing.
I love hearing that.
It's wild to hear like the different fucking like POVs of like, experiences. It's like night and fucking day.
Right. And again, we're going back to intersectionality. Like, they're the people around him, the people that, he's been surrounded by or that he's seen, probably were treated totally different than somebody the next state over. Same situation, same surroundings, but one was a pariah and one was let's help. And so you have that big difference between the two, which is, I also think, and this is just an opinion, a theory, is with the growth of social media and the more openness that people are with mental health, I think is helping to change the stigma on it. I mean, back in the day when we didn't have all the social media, you just had the neighborhood, and they didn't know how it was in all the other neighborhoods except for what they saw on TV or what they heard in the news. So if you saw that all the other black neighborhoods were doing great and nobody had problems, if your uncle had problems, you shut him up because you needed to be like that neighborhood, right? So we didn't have the knowing that neighborhood had, crackhead uncle too, or schizoaffective uncle too. Like, you didn't know that. And I think with social media, with so many people coming out and going, this is the issues that I deal with. Here's what I struggle with. Here's what my family deals with. People are being able to look neighborhood to neighborhood and going, okay, we're all dealing with it. Let's actually address it now. Let's not hide it. Let's not sweep it under the rug, because now we're not standing out as the weird one. We all have the issue, So again, like how I would chameleon myself because I didn't want to stand out, is that same sort of thing. You don't want to stand out as the person with mental problems. But when you look and you see, holy crap, there's 400,000 other people dealing with the same thing, now you can raise your hand and go, hey, that's my group, and you have that support system because it's, I don't want to use the word mainstream like it's a popularity thing, but it's more well known, and more talked about. And that's just my theory on it, is that it's getting easier to speak about it because you aren't the only weirdo that deals with it. And again, I'm using these words with the asterisks, not that I believe them, but that's things that I've heard. That's ways that I've seen it approached. And I know that people hide from that. They don't want to be the weird kid, that why does he have tics or why does he do this? Like, I don't want to be the weird kid, so they'll lie about it, or they'll turn to doing something else, be a crackhead instead of having mental problems.
Can we use this ban as a teaching moment real quick though? Because I've had this person in my chat. I banned them. I don't know if they're still here or not, but let me give it a little teaching. Make this a teaching moment for everyone here. This is not how you make a good argument, A of all. And B of all, you come into a space with the Black Lives Matter flag, Black Lives Matter tag, and you argue with us about, oh, what does it really mean? Like, obviously you knew what the fuck it mean. And you just came in here to argue, I guess, and be a troll. But no, I'm gonna make this a learning thing. So what, A of all, it's a bad argument structure to be like, well, I had this incidental experience, and I have a black friend, and I talk to my black friends the same way I talk to my white friends, yada yada. And that's great and fine and all, and I'm happy for you and your black friends, that's great. I'm glad you all get along. But an individual experience does not a societal problem make. Black Lives Matter is about the societal problem at large. It's about how the black and brown communities are marginally not fucking taken seriously. Their lives do not matter, especially to the institution of the police and the government. Just overall, black lives haven't mattered, so that's why Black Lives Matter is a whole fucking movement. They're trying to do something about police brutality. They're trying to do something about the institutionalized racism that still affects people of color to this very day. Racism is still very much fucking alive in America. Like, hello? Did you forget Trump? What the fuck? Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no, I was saying we just want to matter. Like, we're not asking for anything extra. We just want to matter. I mean, holy crap! I'm sorry. I just
equality.
You started touching on it when about somebody explained it, and the eloquent way they put it was beautiful. But the reason why it's focused on the Black Lives Matter instead of, say, Blue Lives Matter is that blue lives have always mattered. There was never a stigma where they didn't matter.
Same.
So you don't need to now say Blue Lives Matter because they always have. There was never a point. I mean, there's people that are like, fuck the police, but there was never a point where society, everybody was just like, cops are garbage and below our feet.
Also,
no, they were cops.
Also, you're not born as a fucking cop. Like, you made a conscious decision to become a certain profession. Like, shit, if you want to say Green Lives Matter, I'd get behind that movement because social workers are very undervalued and underpaid. Hi, literally was talking on that earlier. But I'm not gonna fucking do that because I'm not an idiot, alright? Black people are real and they fucking exist. Sorry. I'm sorry if that scares you and frightens you. And here's the other fucking flaw of logic that all these people who are like all lives matter folks have. Cyber was talking about this before as well, which is just that, like, they think that equality means, oh no, my way of living and my rights are threatened. It's like, no, we're just fucking asking to be, black and brown people are just fucking asking to be treated equally in a court of law. When in a police confrontation, they don't want to fucking think about the fact, like, oh god, I might fucking die if I get pulled over by the cops. Oh god, if I go to court for some crime that I may or may not have committed, if they find me guilty, my sentence is going to historically be so much more so. Hell, they've been like, I talked about this last week too, where they're trying to do away with incongruent punishment laws for certain drug substances. They like made crack cocaine as opposed to like powder cocaine so much more like a 20-year sentence compared to like a 3-year sentence for powder, because overall the black communities use crack cocaine and white communities use powder.
Yep.
And it's just it's fucking prison pipeline.
That one to me bothered me like immensely because it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
But one of them was the historically majority of the upper middle class white neighborhoods, lower black neighborhoods. So you have almost the exact same substance. One of them you go for 20, one of them you go for 2. It's like, how is that fair? Like, and that to me is what it comes down to, is how is there fairness in that? That one, yeah, that just you talking about that specifically, the crack and the powdered cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
That one has bothered me for a long time, and this is the sad thing, is I've known that for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, people pretend for the 20 years I've known about it, and I know it's gone on longer,
That it's something new.
that it's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
But that's the thing. That's kind of the point, though. Isn't that kind of the fucking point? That people don't know about it, so they don't talk about it, so they don't have to get angry about it. But it's affected the black community because the black community and black brown communities have been pushed down, and their fucking voices have always been pushed down, and their stories are not fucking important enough to hit the news. Of course the general populace doesn't fucking hear about it, but so when it's in the news is like, oh, this is a big thing, it's a vote, and it's just like, whoa, this is new. It's like, no, it's not, honey. We've been here trying to fight it for fucking years. Like,
oh, this is new,
buddy. This law has been placed since the 70s, like the fucking drug wars, quote unquote. Like,
well, I mean, if you think about it too, what did we march for? We marched for civil rights. I mean, think about that.
yeah.
Civil isn't even equal yet.
No.
Just be civil. Just be civil. That's
Yeah,
all
we're
asking.
like, asking for bare fucking minimum.
Right? Like, come on, okay. We don't want to be the same just yet because you can't handle that shit.
You can't fucking handle that, right?
Civil. That's just how about you don't beat me because I looked past your card. You know,
right.
that's okay, so you talking about that. There was a point in my life where I took myself from being homeless to going, I'm going to drag myself up any way that I can, and I did. And I lived in a fairly affluent neighborhood and was able to afford a nice house. And I decided to go for a walk with my cell phone, right? And this was right when cell phones, not the brick ones, but the flip phones were coming out. So if you had a cell phone, you were doing pretty good. I'm walking down the sidewalk, right? On the sidewalk, totally legitimate, on the cell phone, talking to somebody. And this cop car skids to a stop in the middle of the road. Both cops hop out and unclick their guns. And I'm on the phone looking at them, not moving. Because I'm like, I don't feel like dying right now. Like, that is literally what went through my head. But I see 2 guys coming at me with their hands on their guns, unhooked. And I just stop and I'm holding the phone. I have my other hand up. And I'm like, can I help you? You know, on the sidewalk, I have done 0 things illegal. What's your name? Here's my name. What's your name? We went through that about 10 times. One of them coming around behind me, one of them coming up in front of me. What's your name? And I'm like, how many times do I have to say what my name is? Like, what? And so I started asking, what are you looking? I started doing their job. What are you looking for? Who is it that's a suspect that you are looking for? Like, maybe I can tell you if I've seen them. You know what I mean? And then the question, what are you doing in this neighborhood? And it took everything I had to not be like, you fucking piece of shit, get the fuck. But he had his hand on his gun, so I'm self-preservation.
Walking.
I'm going like, I have a house 2 blocks that way. I got the, like, okay. And then I just stopped and said, do you want to check my wallet? I'm not touching it, but it's in my back right pocket, and I give you permission to pull it out. Because I literally knew if I reached back like this, I in my head, I'm like, dude, I'm getting blasted. Like, and I'm like, literally, I'm just walking down the street. And the guy was like, no, we don't need your wallet. And I'm like, then why are you stopping me? Like, I was just, in my mind, I'm like, going through 101 things going, have I done something I didn't know about? I start questioning myself, right? Like, did I do something on accident bad? And that's fucked up.
Right.
Like, to me, that's fucked
super
up.
fucked. It's super fucked. It's literally a traumatic experience that you're questioning your own fucking reality.
Right. And here's the thing. And this is what bothered me, is that my younger brother, me and him, we look fairly alike. I think I'm 7, 8 years older than he is. at that point I was like 100 pounds heavier than he is. He very, very, very skinny. He malnourished, 6'1",
Mm-hmm.
115-pound kid, like scary. But obviously we are not the same person. It's very obvious, right? Like if you put me and him, our facial structure is about the same, and that is it. He's 3 inches taller. I'm 100 pounds heavier. You know, like we're very much different. I have a beard. He's clean shaven. Like all these things. I'm bald. He's got a full head of hair. So
Sure.
we're very, very different, except for our facial structure. And he gets in trouble every once in a while. And his get in trouble is he likes to get drunk and walk around and say stupid things. And because he's brown and my mom lived in an affluent neighborhood, he got arrested all the time for drunken disorderly or drunken in public.
Right.
And it wasn't that he beat anybody up. He didn't burn anything down. He was just drunk and brown. So he'd get, in trouble all the time.
Sure.
And they loved arresting him. And he got to the point, dysfunctionally enough, that he thought it was funny. So, he had been arrested 10, 15 times.
Institutionalized.
And they keep asking, what's your name? What's your name to me, at that point. And I'm like going through my head going, what the fuck? They won't stop asking me my name, even though I offered them my wallet. I offered them my ID. And I stopped and I go, are you looking for Caleb? And he just stopped and he's like, and I saw that recognition and I'm like, you motherfucker, you jumped out of your car with your hand on your goddamn gun for my little brother who's skinny as shit, couldn't fight anybody, thinking that he was drunk. You were going to pull your gun on a drunk kid, right? Like, then they got pissed off that it wasn't me, it was that he was doing it to somebody else. And as soon as I mentioned that, and I saw the recollection, I'm like, dude, you guys arrested him yesterday. He had just gotten arrested the day before. I'm like, you guys arrested him yesterday. He's in fucking county. Like, go check your records. And both the cops, like the guy was still behind me. I knew he was behind me. He comes walking out now from, back around me over by the other guy. And I'm like, do you want my ID? And the dude was just like, no, we don't need it. Turned around and got in their car and left. No, I'm sorry. No, anything. While I'm standing there, like, I'm a grown ass man. At that point, I was, 100 pounds heavier than my brother, but I was very built. I went to the gym every day. Like, I could have taken them both. Like, and it's not me being cocky.
No,
I could have taken them both,
fact.
but they had guns. I don't carry a gun. I'm standing there shaking on the side of the road going, I almost died because of a random person's want to be powerful. You know what I mean? Like, how fucked up is that? And it wasn't just because, like, if I would have been in my grandma's neighborhood, which is in the south part of Seattle, that wouldn't happen because I fit in with the other black poor people. I was in an upper middle class white neighborhood, so it was instant, what are you doing here? And it was like, dude, I'm I got a 3-bedroom place on almost a half an acre that I can easily pay for with my Range Rover and town car. What the fuck do you mean? What am I doing here? Like, and that isn't honestly, I was more miserable having money than not. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But that wasn't the one and only time that something like that happened. And that's what's messed up. In the neighborhoods where I was supposed to be in, where I chameleoned in because I was brown, I never had any of these experiences. I can probably tell you 10 to 15 different times something very similar to that happened in affluent neighborhoods that I wasn't supposed to be in. That I was doing absolutely nothing but walking down the street. Only one time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, only one time I was jaywalking and I got a ticket right away for it. And I knew I was jaywalking. I'm like, all right, the light was red. There were no cars, but I get it. You got to give me the ticket. There was one time that because I was jaywalking, every other time I was literally walking on the sidewalk. And I'm just like, this shouldn't happen. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one that deals with this, this kind of shit. But I can tell you, out of all the friends that I had that lived in those neighborhoods that were white, none of them could repeat the story that I gave them.
Nope.
None of them could say that happened to me.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like that was just how it was. And sadly enough, it got to be a norm. Like, it got to be a norm that, hey, what do you? And I'm like, here's my ID. Run me for my warrants that I don't have. Run me for the jewelry store heist that I didn't do. Like I was prepared for it. And to me, that's like it's that right there is why people have to say Black Lives Matter, and not just Black Lives. And honestly, in Black Lives is easiest way to say it. But it happens to Hispanics. It happens to natives. It happens to, Chinese and Japanese. It happens to almost everyone that I've known that isn't white. And this isn't me harping on, oh, well, white people blah, because you know what? There's billions of white people that are fantastically amazing, wonderful, loving people that would never do this.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
that power of you're brown, you're wrong. That if we're going back to the whole, thing where I was talking about the phone call, the person on that end, I bet you those cops will never remember who I was or that situation, but I will. You know what I mean? The person
They don't care. It was another day on the job.
And they probably have done it, not just them, but any other ones, to thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that they will never remember. And it doesn't matter who are telling stories just like mine. And like, to me, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, white privilege is a hell of a fucking drug.
But at the same time, you have someone like Starr here, right? Who's part native, even though you can't tell. If she walked on the res, she would be in Hawaii. I fit in. Hawaiians, they're sweet and loving, but there's some of them that really don't like white people. And that was a privilege I had that I got to see on the other end. Like I was used to, and sadly enough, got used to people being, racist towards me. Not out and out, but, doing little things. And I'm just like, ignore them, who cares? But when I watched it happen to her, it infuriated. Like when I watched somebody treat her in a bigoted manner just because she had pale skin, like it was infuriating. I was just like, how dare you treat anybody differently because of the way they look? You have no idea their personality, the kind things or the mean things they've done. You have no idea.
That's what people do. People make those fucking, snap click decisions. And that's what cops do. I was going to say your only crime was existing as a person of color. That is your only fucking crime. And they criminalize you. It's not just an individual experience thing. It's a societal, you get judged. We used to have a term, because we drove a lot, me and Frankie, right? So I'd be like, whenever I see someone get pulled over, I'd be like, oh, it's a DBD. It's a DWB. Driving while black. Yeah, dead ass.
Dude,
driving while black.
That's a real thing, though. That is a real thing. Like
100% is.
I was in a car with this white girl that turned, and I'm just using white girls just so you can see, turned the wrong way down a one-way street, saw cars coming, freaked out, backed up onto the sidewalk in a busy downtown area, had a cop pull up, looked at her, and she was like, sorry, I got scared. He stopped all of traffic just to let her go out. My buddy, who's half black and half white, he's fairly dark-skinned, his car, the belt, when you take off and the belt screeches a little bit, he would get pulled over all the time, and they just automatically assumed that he was doing something bad. And I'm like, wait a minute. He's making a right-hand turn. She broke 4 laws driving on a fucking sidewalk.
Right.
And he's getting, we're just doing random insurance inspections, which we found out was illegal. We didn't know that.
Well, that's okay. Yeah. All right, great. This is good. Let's keep rolling with this shit, because there's like 7 different threads I can go from this. Like, what is the fucking, identity profile of your typical fucking cop? It's usually someone who's white, usually someone who wants to be in power, or usually someone who's like narcissistic or something like that. They want to be in a position of power over other people, right? This goes the same with like some carrying positions too. They want a position over power. Doctors are fucking notorious for this shit. Doctors and cops, I hate to say it, but they share a bed sometimes. I swear to fuck.
I would even go so far as to remove, and not 100%, but say if you just remove the most cops are white. Let's just say like remove that.
But even if you do, there's still those people that want power. There's people that want power, and there's also the norm, the fucking cops and brothers, fucking tighter than thieves kind of shit of just like you cover up for each other, and and there's that very weird, very toxic masculinity type-ish thing where it's just like, oh, you cover up for your buddy, like, we didn't do anything illegal, but now you have points of like, again, let's get back to the original topic, self-responsibility, body cameras. Cops are fighting that shit because they're like fucking scared of being responsible for their actions while on duty. Like, I'm very
when you get away with doing what you want.
When you get away with murder, let's be real here. When you get away with murder,
when you're in a place of power like that, and then all of a sudden someone says, "Hey, we're gonna check your power," and you're like, "Whoa, no.
Whoa.
This is my power. You don't get to touch my power. Touch Billy's power, but not my power."
Right.
You know, like we're not doing that.
I mean, it's literally, yeah.
With that, I would even go so far as to say, male, female, black, white, everything else. I've noticed that a lot of the people that I've run into, and again, I can just go by my experience. A lot of the people that I run into, and honestly, I got accepted into the police academy in Hawaii. I was going for it, because mostly job security. Like cops are always going to be around.
Yeah.
That and you hate
but
people
most
that
of the
don't use their turning signals.
yeah, no. One of my main reasons was I was going to pull over every single person that didn't use their turn signal. I'm petty like that. Look, I've been in a car accident and I'm permanently damaged. Like I'm very petty when it comes to that. But a lot of the people that I met, it was very much a whether they're what built them is that they either had no power and they wanted it, or they had always had a power and never wanted to lose it. And really what it came down to of the people that I met was the power over. And to me that's a very dangerous thing, because I mean there's the saying power corrupts, and it kind of does with a lot of people. You get a big head and all of a sudden you do things because you can get away with it now. You may hurt somebody, but you can get away with it, or you can do this because you can get away with it because of your power status. And that is, when I look at the police as a whole, I see that there is a stigma in the U.S. of brown people, and they can be treated a certain way. But when I look at the ones doing it, I don't just go, well, the white cops are. Because honestly, I've seen black cops be just as vicious. I've seen female cops be just as vicious. Where now I don't look at it as like, oh, I see a white cop who's going to do this. I go, I see a cop. Like if there's a police officer, I'm a little bit on edge. Like
Cop
I'm a
is cop.
24-year-old man that shouldn't have to worry about this shit. I'm grown. I'm college educated. I can help people, but I still have to go, is that cop going to do something? And that to me is what it shouldn't be. But then if they cover up for each other because, one person did this, but they have that brotherhood mentality, like, I don't know. I have theories and thoughts on it that some of them I keep to myself because they're out of anger. And some of them, I'm like, if that gets out, then I might be a target. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut, which is sad, but it's true. It's just it's a grouping. It's a powerful gang, in my eyes. It's a very, very powerful gang. You just gotta be careful, and you gotta.
You're welcome.
Sorry, was I? Yeah, I mean.
No, he said he asked for help in the chat. Now I had the word for him.
Okay.
Sorry, they.
It's okay.
Sometimes if I ramble on too much, she helps out. Keeps me in check.
No, I appreciate it. Can I go off on chat a little bit for a second here? Because we're having a really good teaching moment, I think, about this like random troll here. I mean, I don't know if they're troll. They might be genuine. I always take people at face value, so I think that they're probably genuine, and they just genuinely don't fucking understand how dumb they sound, frankly. Of just like, well, I have black friends, and it's like, all right, great, cool,
Great, that doesn't make you not a racist.
Doesn't make you not kind of racist, or not literally ignoring societal problems, And again, Poch just shared a personal story of getting confronted by police, but his story isn't a one-time deal. You can't fucking claim, oh, well, that doesn't happen to my black friend. I'm like, I'm glad it doesn't happen to your black friend who probably is living in in a nicer neighborhood or some shit, whatever the fuck that even means either, I'm glad it doesn't happen to your black friend, or maybe your black friend doesn't tell you that it happens.
Most likely, and I'll be honest from my perspective, most likely they didn't tell you. Very few people know that shit has happened to me
because it's not relevant, and they probably know you're not going to engage the conversation because you're just going to deny that it even happened to them.
It's honestly, it's embarrassing because I got treated like a very, very weak creature. So I got demoralized to the point that if I tell people, I'm like, Okay, so I was a little bitch and I just stood there and didn't do anything. But the reality is,
But
they
you
have fucking
have to
guns.
be. But you have to be. They have a fucking gun. They
Right.
have gun. I have my life and my skin tone.
I
Like,
have a flip phone. I had a flip. You know,
right. Could have been seen as a fucking weapon.
but like that's probably why their black friend. If it happened, and I'm not saying it did. If it happened, probably why they didn't say shit is they don't want to look like a little bitch, even though you're not a little bitch when you're
Mhm.
preserving your life. But people have put that on you too. Like, oh, you didn't stand up to him. No, I didn't want to
No,
die.
I want to
Thank
die.
you.
Literally.
My
Like,
favorite.
if you're ignoring society, it's rough. And I was also sorry. I just want to
You're good.
catch up a little bit. A lot of like discussion and chats happening right now, and it's a really great discussion. I mean, one of it was, I mean, I brought up. Okay, so they're talking about how like, you know, white people and like how, you know, a lot of white people might experience bigotry, you know, because those people are receiving constant racism from white people, so it's like a defense mechanism. So I don't blame them at all. Ruben doesn't judge people too harshly on people who are not, you know, who are not white and distancing themselves from white people. And I was like, it's funny you say that, because we literally had someone in here last week who was like arguing again this whole like, oh well, I have a black friend, you know. It was so dumb, but it was literally like, why, like literally they were basically a little kid and be like, why can't I go in the black space? Like, I don't understand. Like, why am I not allowed in there? Like, bro, people are allowed to have their private fucking spaces, you know? If they don't want to hang out with you, you're not fucking entitled to their company. Like, if black people are hanging around with other black people and talking about black people things, and you're like, well, I want to be their friend, are you saying I can't be their friend? No, but I'm saying just historically, it's probably not going to fucking go too well for you, because you're just not going to connect with them. You're not going to understand. People have their own fucking spaces. You're not entitled to everyone's fucking space. Like,
I think just going on with that, I think here's the difference
yeah.
is that because there were, you know, within the black community, there were the token white guys. One of the reasons why those guys fit in is because they didn't sit and argue when the dude was like, yeah, I got pulled over for this for nothing. I got a gun pulled on me for this. He didn't go, well, you know, we don't. He didn't do that. He just went, well, tell me more about it, because that's fucked up. Like he actually, you know, well, there were a few of them that were like, I don't understand this, so tell me what's going on in your life. Tell me what goes on in the culture. Like they were open to understanding what was happening in that culture instead of defending and saying you're making it worse than it is. And that was the difference. When you have someone going, well, it doesn't happen to my black friends, they've just said, they negated the whole entire culture. They negated the whole entire fact that it happens repeatedly. And I can tell you what, people that have had guns on them by cops will bite your head off for negating the fact that that happened, and they're scarred and they're scared. Right? Like you do that, you're gonna a lion's gonna come out because you don't have the gun. You're not a cop, so they can go after you. Right? So the when you stop and go, well, that sucks that happened. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to, you know, like tell me more because I don't understand it? I'm telling you, within the culture, when someone does that, we're like, holy fuck, okay, come on over to the barbecue and we'll talk about shit. Like, you're accepted, you're brought in. I've seen a 6'2" ginger sitting with the darkest black dudes, and you look at him and go, what the fuck? Dude was down and real and was just like, yeah, no, I don't deny that happens to you. Like, tell me more because I don't understand it. And because he was that open, it showed him as a real human. And he was just fully accepted, going, all right, you're not going to judge us and say that we're making shit up when we're not making shit up. And I'm telling you, the quickest way to get cut out of a group is to downgrade the shit that they go through.
I mean,
and to say that it doesn't really happen.
Plain and simple, it's gaslighting. It's gaslighting. It's literally gaslighting people's experiences.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting to me. The gaslighting that occurs.
To me, the people who are like, well, I have black friends and that's not what they go through, they're trying to put themselves in the same shoes of having a token black friend and be like, oh, well, we have the black friend, so we're not racist. No, fuck you. You're still racist.
You can still have racism.
Just because you have one black friend doesn't make you a piece of shit.
Right. That ass.
Yeah.
That fucking ass. All right, listen. We gotta take another minute 30 break, kids. We're not gonna say anything too important. I pushed it back like twice now because we had a really
We're having
good.
really good discussions.
This is great. We're gonna keep going. All right, I'm gonna do an ad now. All right, so everyone say hi to Twitch Daddy. I'll see you in a minute 30. All right, boom. Get a water.
So wait, during the ad, I shouldn't give the formula for world peace? Is that... Oh, crap, I shouldn't do that. Okay.
My formula for world peace is just to get everybody high.
I can't do it. You know what's funny? That's actually one of the questions that was asked last week, which is just like, how do we end racism? And that was like the last question we discussed. Yeah, my guest, what's his name? My guest Rudy Casillas, who is the husband of Laz in my chat. They're both like suicide awareness type ish people. They did a whole podcast. They have a lot of cool stuff going on with their end. But he suggested, you know, what if we have like a group of like only white people and they can just like ask whatever question they want to ask without like fear of being canceled or anything. And I'm just like, that's just Reddit.
Right? So I actually wanted to touch on the whole racism thing, but I wanted to touch on the whole racism thing like within our own families being mixed people. Like I know Poch has said a couple of things about his family and how they've treated him and how, you know, he didn't feel like he fitted in society. I didn't even fit in with my own family. Like I legitimately
hold on.
The only person I talk to is my mother.
Right. Okay. Everyone should be back now. Just to reintroduce everyone, we're talking to Poch, like Watchfad, and his wife Starr here. And we were just discussing during the ad break a little bit of, you know, kind of like one of the questions that we asked last time, which is like, how do you end racism? And Rudy had a very interesting answer. But Starr brought up a really interesting topic that she wanted to talk about, which is, you know, both of you being, you know, mixed race folks. You know, how is it fitting in your family? And you said you don't really fit in your family. You said you only really talk to your mom.
Yeah, my mom is, she's the one that's part native. That's the side of my family that my native comes from. And my parents split when I was 3.5, so I always lived with my dad. There was, my mom had a mental breakdown when they were splitting and told my dad in court that she wanted nothing to do with me and sent me with him and then took my brother and sister. So she split us up and has done a lot in the most recent few years to kind of make up for that whole situation and a few of the other things she did when I was really little, but that's not even the point.
Mm-hmm.
The putting me with my father, who is German and Dutch, that's it. There is nothing else in his heritage. It is literally just German and Dutch, and it's a very, very white Roman Catholic. My grandfather was a deacon, like went to church every Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, it didn't matter, we were always at church. And my dad was my grandmother's favorite, but I was the one that was always in trouble. I was the one that was constantly getting spanked. I was the one that was constantly being, you know, shoved in the basement or told to go outside. They didn't want to see me until dinner. It was always me, and I didn't realize until I was an adult and I was speaking with my mother about, you know, her side of the family and finding out what her heritage is, sorry, tongue slips, that I realized that my grandmother was treating me like crap. And she would always call me her little heathen or the savage in the family. Yeah, I was always being called the heathen or the savage. And I didn't know that it was because I was part native.
Yeah, I was about to say, savage is a pretty fucking
yeah.
rough
I'm familiar with that. That's pretty specific. Well,
she's also the same person, you know, when I was pregnant with my first kid, that she told me I was too fat and needed to lose weight. So, you know, this,
All right.
she's just
All
that kind
right.
of
Where is
person.
she? I'm pulling up.
She's in her 80s now, man. She doesn't even remember her own name half the time. But
Yeah.
she
Grandma
yeah,
is
no.
canceled.
Grandma is canceled, man. She's a bitch. I hate her. But
Yeah, I love
I
the
was
realness right there. I love that realness.
Same.
I do.
I live for it.
I was that one that, you know, was hated in the family. And then when I tried to reconnect with my native side of the family, they're like, well, you're just water. Like, why are you here? What are you doing here? You're just a little white girl anyway. Go away. So
Wow.
there was I literally did not fit in with any of my family at all. And I was treated like dirt from both sides. So to this day, the only person I talk to is my mother. I haven't spoken to my dad probably in almost a year. The last time I talked to him, he was going into rehab again for alcoholism.
Right.
Go figure. Bunch of, you know, Roman Catholics being alcoholics. Anyway,
It's okay.
and-
God will forgive their sins, I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure. And
He
heaven
confessed.
forbid if I even tell him I'm pansexual, then I will be completely ousted from the family, as if I'm not already anyway. But
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He confessed got me. That got me. Sorry.
Well, yeah, that's
No, I
that's
know
what you
that.
do.
I know that's what it is.
It's true.
I know so
So now-
much so that's I used to be part of that group, and yes, you've been paid for it. Just confess. You can do whatever you want.
Right?
Sorry, please continue on, Mindy. Sorry.
So that's kind of where my intersectionality really makes a big difference in, you know, as far as race is concerned, is that I've never had a place. I don't have a family except for the ones that I choose, and now I don't even believe in God. Now I'm a witch that is pansexual, embraces her native,
You
even
pariah. You. Oh my God. Oh wait, I love you. Sorry.
even though my entire family hates me. And
You're
I
a
don't talk
heathen.
to anybody.
Right. You're a savage. Heathen.
They haven't given you a reason to talk to them though either, you know? Like, you don't fucking owe anyone your peace of mind. You don't owe anyone your time. I'm fucking
Right?
honored to have both of you on for as long as you've been today.
Dude,
And
They're-
just yeah.
they're
Honored
not
to
my
be
family.
here.
You know,
Good.
there's
Yeah.
a saying that you can ask Poch, I've repeated it a million times. The blood of the coven, or the blood of the womb is, no, hold on.
You got this.
You'll get it.
I can't even think straight right now. I need my anxiety med right now, to be honest with you.
Go grab it.
Oh, it's at the pharmacy. That's where we're going after this.
Yeah. The blood of the coven is thicker than the water of the womb.
Is the pharmacy still open?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
It's
be
only
open
it's
till
only
11.
7. It's only 7 here.
Okay, right.
I've
Oh,
got another 4 hours.
we've planned this. We have it all planned out.
Okay. I don't know what time your pharmacy's closed, so
11.
11. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Oh shit, that's late.
Yeah, we've got a lot of time.
Damn,
But
our
the blood
pharmacy's
of the
closed at
coven
8.
is thicker than the water of the womb, which
Yes.
essentially means that you choose your family and you choose who gets to be around you. So now I have chosen my family. I don't have a blood family anymore. I have chosen who gets to be in my family.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. And I'll pitch the fucking Waba fam again, because
Hey, dude, that's for the families.
that's
though. Like,
that's what it is. That's what the community is.
Oh my goodness.
what we're all
man.
about.
Like, there's out of my entire family just going. I think one of the things that you bond over traumatic things, right? One of the things that
Mm-hmm.
Star and I can bond over is that I have my dad, right? Not my stepmom, but like that's it. And mind you, the ones I don't have are my 2 brothers, my sister, my mom, and most of the other people on that side of the family. So it's and that's by choice. Because mind you, I'm the one that has been, and I don't say this in any way of a boasting, but just, within the family, the most successful. I'm the one that, went to college. I'm the one that owned a 3-story condo on the lake and had nice vehicles and had
Good for
suits
you.
and ties. And
That's
well,
awesome.
and in saying that, to me, that was a happy moment going from homeless to that within about 5 years. That was a happy moment. But I'll tell you
Damn.
what, I was mentally and emotionally happier when I was homeless than when I had all that. I will tell you that. I want to find that in between because I don't want to be homeless again.
Right.
But I was emotionally miserable at that point. But anyway, out of the family, like I've succeeded the most. When I lived in Hawaii, my younger brother almost died, so I brought him to live with me to help him get healthy.
Um,
My younger sister
real
had a
quick,
huh?
time out. I'm gonna go outside, so I'll be right back.
Okay,
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will be a
gotcha.
much happier person when I come back in, just so you know.
Okay.
No problem. Have fun.
So
Don't die.
my younger sister had a child and ditched that child, which I took into my house and took care of.
Mm-hmm.
My older brother got a divorce and didn't have a place to go, so I brought him into my house. And at one point, I had all 3 of them living with me and my children and my wife at the time, and I was taking care of everybody. So out of the out
Aw.
of the whole family, like I was the one that got the most stable and took care
Mhm.
of. But yet, when it comes to who's the most important, I rank on pretty much the bottom of that entire list. And I've known that for a long time. And for years and years and years, I was like, you know what? I have to prove that I'm worth something. I have to do more. I have to do better. I have to whatever. At a certain point, I was, preaching within the church and part of all the worship teams, and like I was what the ideal person, within America. I was, like I was like that's what I have to achieve, so I did, and part of the community and blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
And nothing changed, nothing worked, nothing. Like I was still the bottom of the family, and that's when I realized like fuck them. If they were anybody else, I would have cut them off a long time. They would have been out of my life without even skipping a beat. And that's when I had to hit that point to go, why am I not doing that? Like, why haven't I cut them out of my life? Like, why haven't I been like, you know what?
Right.
That
What's
was
going
the
on?
last straw. Have a good day. And just recently, my older brother, who's down in San Diego, he was coming up to visit my mom, who lives in Washington,
Mhm.
and popped into my stream. And literally all he said was, hey, when I get over there, can I stay on your couch or should I get a hotel? Not, hey, do you mind if I come visit or blah, 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 blah. Because that's how my older brother's like demanding. I get what I want. And
Right.
I'm in my stream and I don't want to be a dick and just go, hey, fuck you, because that's not the atmosphere of my stream.
Right.
So I just say, hey, how about you text me later?
Right.
And he just, was that a yes or no? And I said, just text me later. And he knew well enough. He didn't text me. He knew what my answer was: is don't fucking come here. Like I've cut everybody off. Like
That's pretty weird,
you call and
honestly.
you ask for
Pretty
things. You
fucking
you
weird, champ. Coming to your stream like that, like.
oh yeah no, but that what it was, and because I know him, that was I'm going to claim dominance on what you've built. So I'm going to dominate your stream. I'm going to dominate everything you've done, and you're going to do it because that's how he is. He he came into my stream on my birthday a year and a half ago.
Was that the first time he came into your stream?
No, no, no. He's been in there a few times, and I've gotten this close to banning him so many times. I don't know why I haven't done it. I
You
think
should just
because I
ban
have
him.
that little edge of like, well, it's family. I can't ban him. I think that's the only thing that's kept me from it. But he he
Hey,
would call me on my stream drunk, wanting to talk to chat and take over my stream. I'm like,
can
well,
you just like type that one into your chat real quick and give me the username, and I'll just do it for you right now.
what is his username? I'm thinking about it. I'm like,
Cause like I've straight up had people from like high school come in here and try to say like some weird shit, like accuse me of like me liking some other girl or whatever, like passing someone up, and I'm like, bro, this is like really dumb high school drama. I don't know what you're on about. Like if you liked me, you could have just said so. I was stupid. I was very stupid, and that other person was awful.
Anything high schooly at this point, look, again, I'm 44. Anything high schooly at this point, I'm like, really? I'm too old for this shit. Like, I've lived through too much
Yeah.
to deal with high school bullshit. And quite honestly, I think because he only pops in maybe once or twice a year, and he was for a little bit. He'd gotten a job and was, subbing, and he'd throw a few bits. And then would text me later and be like, well, are you going to give me something for it? And I'd hang up on him, or I wouldn't answer the text or whatever, if he called. Just be like, I can't, like, I just can't do it. But it's taken, I mean, here's the whole thing, though. Like, with family, and this is going back to what's molded me. And I have to,
Right.
I still do it. I still look myself in the mirror and I go, why are you doing this? Why the fuck are you putting up with this? Like, this is an issue with my family that I still deal with, that I'll look in the mirror and be like, why didn't you just let him come in your stream and do that without telling him to fuck off? You know what I mean? Like, this is still things that I think the why is going to be an ongoing always, because that's just like all the things that built you. You can either just accept them and live with it, or you can challenge them and go, why am I doing this? Why do I act this way? Why do I react this way? And that's one of those things that I see as a toxic reaction on my part of putting up with somebody treating me like shit. But it's ingrained from whatever, variable put it into my life growing up, that I have to. You know what I mean? And to me, it's a toxic trait on mine to put up with somebody abusing me or hurting me, and being okay with it to the point that I let it happen. You know what I mean? And so that's when I gotta look at myself and go, why are you letting that happen? And why are you still being okay with this person treating you like ass and not doing anything about it, or not doing enough? And I guess that's along the lines too, is like doing enough. Like, I'll cut them off from 80% of my stuff, but I still leave that 20% window. Like, why the fuck am I still doing that? And that's, I fucking love this topic. It challenges me. Like, after this stream, I'm going to be thinking about this stuff, and I'm going to challenge myself over and over and over, because that's how I work, and that's how I'll change my behaviors.
I mean, this is why, like, I offered that kind of as a joke and a bit, but I'm also kind of serious too. Like, if you mentally need someone else to pull the trigger, I'll pull the trigger for you, dude, because I can spot a toxic relationship like a million miles away, dude, and that is so fucking toxic. Like, I think Ribbon pointed it out pretty goddamn perfectly when they said that answer from him just screams, I don't have the desire to actually have a conversation with you. I just want to make demands at points where you can't say what you really want to say. Ha ha ha, na 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 na. Like, fucking childish, literally, like, playground childish shit. It infuriates me to no end.
Honestly, the only reason why I wouldn't have you do it is that I don't think that I feel that I would have succeeded at what I need to do mentally if I had you do it. Does that make sense? Like, if you went and banned him, then that's why I haven't asked you to, because you've offered so many times to ban him. It's one of those things that I know within myself that I'm and this is what I have to work on. This is me being transparent as fuck right now. If I don't go and do it, then I'm going to keep putting up with it. Like, for me to put a finalized stamp on it, I have to be the one that does it. If anybody else does it for me, I don't feel like I've successfully stopped that behavior. And that's, to me, not taking the full responsibility myself in doing it. If I have you do it, I made you take responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that fully, man, because, like, oh Lord, yeah, I understand that fully, because it's really like, I feel like it's like, okay, so this is how I think about stuff, in regards to, like, modding, especially on, like, Twitch and stuff, and especially in, like, in our own crafted spaces, right? You know, I leave this space pretty open. You know, Twitch has just put on all the new stuff with, like, email verifications and phone verifications. I have not enabled that yet, and I haven't found yet a reason to do so, because I fully believe in the power of an individual, and I believe in that individuals can have really good conversations, and I love to invite pretty much anyone into this space to talk. But when it comes to banning people, even include people that are, like, people that I know in my life, if this person is harmful to my community, because I can't just think about myself, you know? I can't just think about, like, how does this person affect me? I need to think about, how does this person affect the community? How is this person affecting the, you know, the general vibe of the space that I've crafted and I've worked very hard on to craft and create? If this person is disrupting that, then why not? Why aren't I banning them sooner? You know? And I know there's that added, again, intersectionality. There's the added layers of, this is my family, but this is also the family that has, like, pushed me to the side. It's the family that doesn't give a shit about me. But for some reason or another, I have it stuck in my head that I still need to put up with their bullcrap, and I still need to present the way that I want to be present on stream, and I can't actually be real with him, because it would be a lot of anger, and no one would really be
Right.
like that, because your streams are pretty chill. You know, your streams are pretty chill. You still talk on real shit, but they're pretty chill. So if you were to randomly explode at some random user with anger, you'd just be like, everyone would be like, what the fuck? Like, Poch, you good, buddy? You take your meds today? Like, what's going on?
I don't know if people like how they would react if I went from doing this to, dude, you can go fuck yourself right now. Like, there's one thing of joking. There's
Right.
one thing when I get dead ass serious. Like, whoa, wait a minute, what the hell? And honestly, that's the way the reaction would be. It would switch from, like, no, everything's cool, to, you know what, dude, seriously, we're gonna fucking have this out right fucking now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I don't want to do on stream.
And I have done that before. I don't necessarily recommend it, but I have done that before. I've called people out, and I've said like, listen, like, I told the people from high school, I said, listen, you keep, like, alluring to, like, who you are, and you keep full name dropping people from my high school. A of all, that's really weird and uncomfortable for those people, because they're not here right now to say that that's okay or not. So please don't do that, you know? And B of all, if you seriously, like, have a beef with me about, like, this girl or whatever, you can DM me after stream. But to tell you the truth, I'm over it. It's been 10 plus years. I'm fucking over everything from my hometown, all right? Like, I don't know about you, but, like, buddy, I've moved on with my life. Like, I have two college degrees, a full-time job, a fucking full-time relationship, a full-time streaming thing that I'm trying to make to be my fucking full-time career, dude. Like, I don't have time for this shit. Like, my time is more valuable than you, all right? The fact that I even said all that was way too much, probably. But yeah, you know? Like, that was more time than you're worth. Like, fuck off. I like Laz's suggestion, which is, I've told people the same thing as Waba. I'll block them, send them messages, tell them to fuck right off for you. Ribbon's like, Waba can pull the trigger if he confronts you, and you can have the excuse of, oh, sorry, they didn't know you were fam. I'll have them unblock you, and just never unblock them. But I would also argue, Ribbon would also argue, giving someone that power of doing it, you're just the one actually pulling the trigger. Just need someone to hold your hand steady. Yeah.
I'll hold your hand, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
I'll hold your other hand.
But then I won't be able to type. I'll just with my face.
Don't clip that out of context.
Actually, you know what? It's me. Go ahead. Clip that out of context.
Oh, I will. I'm adding it. I'm adding it as some sort of alert. I don't know. Name the bit. Name a number of bits, and I'm gonna add it.
77. 77 bits.
Okay. I marked it, so I'll remember then. As the oldest sibling of 16, I've never demanded something from my younger siblings other than to shut up when they are about to say something wrong, like racist or homophobic comments, or for their own good, like when I ordered them to come in from a mountain lion was stalking them. Yeah, that was it.
Oh my. Oh.
Dude, King of Deadpool's great. I fucking love him.
Oh.
Yeah, his family's up to some stupid shit all the time. It's great.
Mountain lion. Whoa. Oh.
Yeah, don't worry about it. This is normal. That doesn't surprise me at all. Mountain lion? His family being stalked by a mountain lion? Yeah, that shit is that's fucking like, that's like first grade King of Deadpool story shit at this point. Like, whatever. Yeah, all right, yeah, sure. For me, it was having support doing it.
So.
Yo, Snob, that's amazing, dude. I'm glad to hear the good news. That's awesome. Get signed for a label? Hell yeah. You've never had someone trying to claim something they've earned or built for themselves. It's really fucking weird of your brother to be like, oh yeah, I did this, and it's like, no.
You have no idea how bad I want to ban him and then laugh at him for banning him to his face. Because I hate that man with such a vengeance.
You got to understand the way that he it's a, and I don't mean this pompiously, but it's very much a jealousy thing. He's hit on almost every single person either I've been married to or dated that he's been around.
Why do you invite jealousy into your life? There's a question
You know,
to ask yourself later.
and this is and the only place that he actually has access to me is through my stream now. Like, of course he has my phone number, but that's up to me whether or not to answer the phone or put it on so it never actually rings and everything else. The only place that he has the actual access is through the stream. And I think for me, and this is something that after the stream now, I'm going to be looking in the mirror going, what are you doing? Because I do that with myself is, why am I allowing that last window? Why don't, like, and that's when I have to not just go, well, why do I shouldn't? But I really want to know why. Like, when I ask myself why, I don't say that as like a facetious, like, oh, I'm just going to say, I want to know why. Like, why do I really feel like I need to have this person in my family unbanned? What is so deep rooted that I have to have this? And I'm going to find those fucking roots and get rid of them.
You want me to do the worst possible thing a therapist could do, but I'm not a therapist, I'm just a friend?
Okay.
I'll try to tell you the why. I'm gonna try.
You know what? Actually, I enjoy, because I take whenever somebody says this is a why as a theory that could possibly be, not as law.
This is a theory. I mean? This is a theory, working theory right now. Maybe you keep allowing him into your life because there's some part of you that feels like you could have a positive interaction with him. You could have had a good interaction. You could have had a brother. And he just constantly is disappointing you every single time, but you still keep giving him that second chance that never becomes, anything. It doesn't accumulate to anything, but you still believe in him in some core, deep down belief. Like, you believe in people in general. You want to see the best in people, and he's capable of good stuff and doing his own shit, but, like, he keeps doing this to you, and you're just like, oh, you're constantly frustrated by it, So what would it feel like to let?
Because he decided that your jerseys were toys and was hanging from them.
I love.
Okay.
Oh, we have our respective babies. Actually, Sky is here as well. Let us hold our cats and comfort them. But yeah, going theory is that maybe you believe in him and you want to see the best in him, and that's why you keep him around, because maybe he'll have a good interaction. Maybe he'll get to know the community. Maybe he'll actually, like, be proud of you. Maybe that's the other thing. You want your family to be proud of you. Your family has never really been proud of your accomplishments, never really acknowledged you. You want to be acknowledged. So this is someone acknowledging you. Yes, it's in a negative way, but at least they're acknowledging you. At least they're there. And if you ban them, then it's like, all right, I've told them that they can't acknowledge me anymore. I'm gonna transition this into what Ribbon said as well, which is, by having another mod ban your brother, you're the one giving the authority, you're the one banning him. You're the one banning him. You won't know who exactly did it. It's not like you get instant notification about it. Either way, if he demands having unsolicited access to you, he'll confront you about it. I have to tell you about Crunch as well.
So it's what I'll say is that like, you saying what you just said gives me even more, not that I had low respect, but even more respect. So it adds on to the immense piles of respect I already have for you. Is like your ability to sit and look and go, I'm going to assess this. I'm going to listen to what Poch just said, and I'm going to listen to the situation. I'm going to go back on what I've learned in situations I've been in, and I'm going to offer, my theory, which I can say that there's like 2 or 3 things that you said that I was like, yeah, that's it too. Yep, that's it too. And the reason why I like the feedback is because I might not have thought about that for another 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And then I would have been like, fuck, I wish I would have known this a year ago.
Yeah, I mean,
you're saying that now, I'm gonna sit and think like, okay, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? And work through those things.
Again, we're taught, don't give your clients insights. Let them come to those conclusions on their own. And a lot of times, people have to come to those conclusions on their own. But also, a lot of those conclusions are like, oh wow, I do affect like my own shit. It's that basic level. But I don't think you're at that basic level. I know you're at that. You've told me you literally confess to it at the first fucking 5-minute mark of just kind of like, yeah, I fucking own my shit. And I'm like, good, absolutely. So I know you're prepared for it, you know. I think Ribbon is also like hitting my points a little bit better as well, which is just to say, can I scroll up in my own chat? Thank you. There's probably a part of you that wants to repair the relationship, but a relationship involves two people. If you won't do his part in repairing, then there's no need to put in the effort in your part. It's not a bad feeling, Poch. It means you want a healthy relationship with your brother, but the healthiest thing for you is to remove him, probably. I don't know why text-to-speech didn't work, by the way. It might just not be added on this scene. So I will... Oh, I know why. I have to re-authenticate it. Oops. I'll have to re-authenticate that bot. I'll have to remember which bot that is. I think it's Creatives. I'll probably do it right now. But yeah, go off.
Just saw what Deadpool said.
If you like, we can always lure them into Crunch's pit and see how long until he apologizes for every wrong he's done to you. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. Do you know who Crunch is? Crunch is?
No.
Do you want to know who Crunch is?
Yes, I do.
Me too.
Crunch.
I got a few people to throw in there.
Crunch has a pet. Crunch is a fucking hell. What is it called? It's a something. Oh fuck me. Someone try text to speech again, by the way. He's what Dreadnought is. Do you know Pokemon?
He does.
He's a Dreadnought. he is a alligator snapping turtle. A very mean and large alligator snapping turtle. Picture for reference, everyone. This is what Dreadnought looks like. So alligator snapping turtle, who literally hates everything, and I mean everything. The world, the universe, life itself. He hates everything, and he will eat everything. He has like a 20-foot pit that he lives in, and he's crawled out of this pit before as well. He's insanely powerful, has killed so many animals in his life. It's great. Hi GB, welcome in, by the way. He once was sent to a sanctuary for fellow fucking same of his species. And at the sanctuary, he ate and killed like hundreds of mates and wrecked their shit. So they had to give Crunch back to King of Deadpool, who's the only one who's managed to quote unquote tame him. The only other one that's kind of tamed Crunch, which is to say he contains him, is King of Deadpool's pet turkey vulture, whose name is John, I think, if I remember all that correctly, who likes to land on Crunch in a certain position so that Crunch can try to eat him, but it's not going to happen, and he taunts them about this.
Nice.
That's amazing.
So I think I got that all right.
Just going with that picture and saying, lower him until he apologizes.
Yeah.
My brother's the type of person that would die first. You would lower him, then he would die. The rope would come back up empty.
87-year-old alligator snapping turtle who hates all existence will attempt to eat it all. He has eaten bikes, parts of cars, trees, a tiger, and every mate they try to pair him with. 67 mates, okay. And he'll try to crawl the pit out of spite. I love him. Crunch is a fucking legend, dude. All right. Also, King of Deadpool, I'm pretty sure, is a demigod, a full god, or a cryptid, or maybe a combination of all three. Oh.
Fidget.
What are your cats' names? Oh, hello, kitty.
She's also typing in chat right now.
Oh, this is great. Well, I wonder what wisdom does the keyboard cat have for us?
Let's see.
Uh-oh. The kitty has the wisdom of disconnecting Star from the call.
Oh.
F.
Oh.
Well, press enter and chat either way. Send the message. Probably helps him 8'4". Yeah, just a bit. I'm pretty sure when they said Bigfoot, they were talking about you. Oh, you're back.
Back, sorry. She decided to press the airplane mode button.
That's great. Can you press enter in chat? I want to see what she fucking typed. This is great.
Yep, I sure can.
Midnight knocks over your Wi-Fi router. That's fucking wonderful.
Fidget. Seriously, sit still.
But yeah, King of Deadpool is like a
dem.
Yeah, he's great.
Hold on, did you just say, hey, Fidget, sit still? I mean, just think about that. Let's think about that for a moment.
Let's reflect on this.
Yeah.
What is Fidget's intersectionality identity?
Not sitting still. That's...
Is Cat. Cat is chaos.
So, I know that we've gone all different places. I've been thinking about it while you've been talking, while she's been talking. And I keep looking over at the chart. I have you up on the screen right here, so I see the chart. This whole idea and concept and reality of intersectionality is, in my mind, thoroughly amazing, and like I want to dedicate the rest of my life to learning everything I can about it because it coincides with the why.
I mean, I think you're gonna have to.
Right. It's a beautiful thing to bring to people because, funny as it sounds, pretty shiny things make people think sometimes. So bringing that chart that has the pretty colors and the lines, I think is a great way to get people to start looking at parts of themselves that they might not have looked at before. They may never admit it. They may never talk to somebody about it. But I think it'll really start to trigger like people being able to understand that when someone says, well, this is because of my childhood, so many people have said you can't blame it on your childhood. Well, the reality is you absolutely can.
Yeah, you can.
Now, what you do with it now is your responsibility.
Exactly.
But why you started going down this path, you can go, yeah, in between the ages of 3 and 7, XYZ happened, and now I react this way. Now, and I've always said this, as an adult, it's your responsibility to change your actions, especially your negative actions.
Yes.
You know, because you should be able to be aware of them, or at least grow aware of them when you get feedback from other people, or watch how other people, I mean, just deductive reasoning would tell you that if you beat your wife all the time and nobody else does, there might be something wrong with it. You know, like just being able to understand those things.
Yeah. But yeah,
I love that you're even talking about this.
Hey,
like, this to me is awesome.
I'm glad this is sparking conversation, because something I used to say a lot, and I probably should say it a bit more, is continue the conversation. Always continue the conversation. It doesn't have to end here. You know, let this get you thinking, either internally or like with your friends. You know, ask your friends like, hey, what do you think about intersectionality? Like, you know, how do you feel? You know, this interacts with my life. You can think that yourself, or you can talk about it with your friends. You know, I think, you know, it says, and many more. I could probably list a few more to think about. You know, you mentioned maybe an hour or two back, about how like you spoke proper English. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? What is proper English? You know, why is Ebonics? Like, why is it so differentiating? What is it about that fucking scares the crap out of people, that you don't sound exactly perfectly white, you know? You don't sound right, you know, white right kind of shit. Yeah. Yo, Cyberdactyl, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. My gosh, thank you so much.
Yo, Red.
Welcome to the Waba army, by the way. Hell yeah. But yeah, it's fucking wild.
You know what? I just have to say, I'm super stoked of all the people that came in to this stream to be able to hear this with you. And,
hell yeah.
And whether they've been here before or they haven't been here before, like I've been, and I think there was a on Twitter, you had sent me something. I was going through Twitter today. I took this weekend off. Like me and Star, we took the weekend off.
It's good.
And I pulled up Twitter, and you had said something about a picture, and I'm like, holy fuck! Instantly look at my thing, and I'm like, it's the 11th. Today's the day.
Yeah.
Like I've been counting down, but I've been like, going, okay, today's the day. Today's the day. But the cool thing is that I reached out to my community and was just like, everybody go check this out. This is important. And I'm really excited that people are able to be here. I mean, half of them said, oh no, we love Waba, right? Which I thought was awesome, right?
Yeah.
so many people already know who you are.
Yeah,
And
a
I'm
lot
like,
of folks from your community know me, and it's just because you've
I
been rating
fucking
me
love
so much, and I'm like,
because
damn,
you're
dude.
awesome.
Aw,
You're awesome. And I'm
you're
like, dude, you
awesome.
guys know what it is. It's Monday. You know where the fuck we're going. And half the people will pop in, we're going to see Waba. You know, it's like that whole.
That's
And,
adorable.
but then also being able to bring more people here because
Right.
just this conversation, I think, is hugely important for people. And I'm talking people from 13 years old to 90 years old, well, 150, however the fuck old they get,
Sure.
to be able to hear it, listen to it, and try to apply it to themselves. You know, when we talk about changing the world and changing the way people are, I think this right here is getting to the root of the fucked up issues
Mhm.
is what's really going to make the change from somebody going, I fucking hate females, to
Sure.
there's amazing, beautiful, fantastic, glorious females out there.
Absolutely.
I don't need to hate all females. You know what I mean? And getting to
Yeah.
the root cause of it and going, oh no, I hate one. There's one that I fucking hate. You know what I mean? Instead of,
Right.
3.5 billion that I hate. And if in any way your stream and this conversation hits anybody in that place in their mind that they can go home and think about it and, go, what can I do about the roots that I have that I
Right.
haven't touched? Like,
I
to
wanted
me,
to. I designed it that way. I literally designed it this way.
you did well. You
That's
did fantastic.
I've been working on
really-
this fucking project called Mental Health Monday for over a year at this point. And I literally set out to change people's lives, get conversations going. And if I can make at least one person's life a little bit better, get them thinking a little bit more, take good care of themselves, interact with people a little bit better, then I fucking won. I
You've
win.
done it. You've done it, so you win. Like, this. I'm telling you, I'm gonna, after this stream for the next 4 months, I'm gonna be thinking about this shit, going, all right, what can I do? So no, I'm gonna claim a win for you already. If you only need one, you already won. Like, this is fucking awesome. Like, I'm like, as soon as you said you've been doing this for a year, like, the first thought was like, why the fuck didn't I know about this a year ago? You know what I mean? Like,
Had that
why do I only know
exact
about this
same
now? Like, god damn it. So now I gotta make up for that year by bringing more people here, damn it. That's what I'm gonna do.
You're
I
amazing,
love
dude.
that you're doing it. I did no, it's like, and it's not even me. Like, I love that you're doing this. Like, what you're doing here is so fucking needed. Like, insanely needed everywhere. And if we can, you can, and if I can help, and anybody can help. So if anybody's listening to this, do your fucking part. Get as many people into, this stream, or if there's other ones that are, and I don't promote everybody, but that are doing this. Get people in there so that people start thinking, people start going over the shit that they're doing that may negatively be affecting their lives, the people around them, the ripple effect of generations past them. Like, if we can start making those changes now, they're gonna ripple into a good way further on down the line, instead of the ripple of, something bad and then passing that on. I heard so many times, like, oh, this is a generational thing, you won't be able to change it. Like, well, no, that's absolutely untrue. Is it a
Well, it
generational
doesn't
thing?
change if no one changes. How about that?
Right.
You got to take
Right.
responsibility. Be the change you want to see in the fucking world. Shit's not going to get better until you get better. You
Dude,
know?
seriously. Like, when I hear people go, oh, well,
You get it.
my great grandma did it to my grandma, and then my
Right.
grandma did it to my mom, and
Right.
then did it to me, so I'm destined to do it. Fuck that. No, you go, all those people did it, the shit stops here. Like, it
Right.
stops right here. And that is what I see you doing. That's why I try and rage every fucking Monday. Because I'm just like, dude, this is what's going on here. Like, more people, if we can stop that generational thing,
Right.
let's fucking do it. If more
Right.
people can be aware that they need to deal with their shit, let's fucking do it. Like,
Break the norms. Take responsibility for your shit. Start a conversation. Keep it
Hell
fucking
yeah.
going. Keep it fucking going. It
Hell
doesn't stop here.
No, I love it. Like, I love it.
Yeah,
I freaking love this stream.
I think Ribbon's right. You're actively working to break the cycles of trauma, and the older generation wants to perpetuate it. Yeah. Yeah. You can change if you want to, but it takes time. Anyone can. It's a lot to undo your programming, but you can do it. Yeah.
It's hard work.
Another turn of phrase I say is like, mental health might not be our fault, but it is our responsibility.
Damn
You
right.
know?
Yeah. See, it's the hard work thing.
Fuck.
It's gonna take hard work to change.
No, it is. This isn't easy. Trust me.
Oh my goodness.
My guys, like, I'm very open about my mental health history. It was not easy. I suffered every goddamn day of my life at Drexel. I had anxiety attack for the whole day and had moments of panic attacks. It was awful. Shit was whack, dude. It was crap. But like, as soon as I was out of that environment, I like realized, fuck, something changed. What changed? Why am I changed? And I CBT'd myself out of it. I don't recommend it for everyone. Like, go fucking get therapy. I wish I got therapy earlier, but like, fuck sakes, like, shit can get better, but you need to get yourself in that position, where you can control it.
The cognitive behavioral therapy can be intense, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good. At least I'll say this. Good for me. For me, it was good. Each person comes into this at a completely different place. Some very, very, very fragile, and you got to be very fucking careful. I told the story on my stream last week, I think it was, and I don't know if you've heard it, but it was a book that I was reading, and it gave a story about a little girl that was in a village, and there was a policeman, so he was in uniform. She got used to the uniform. She'd say hi, and he was really nice. Have you heard the story when the army raids in?
Yep.
And she goes and hides in the woods until somebody's comfortable enough to sit in her fucking woods with her. Does she actually start coming out? That's the way that our brains, we have these spots that we hide, and until somebody's like, when you need someone to be fucking fragile as shit, you need to have somebody to talk to that'll be that fragile. And the way I am with myself, I'll look in the mirror and be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I can't do that with everybody, and I'm fully aware of that. Some people are like, fuck you, and they run away. But whether they're from like a super fragile place to someone like me that just needs to be told shit straight, like finding that type of therapy, that therapist, higher fire until you find the right one. But don't stop.
REBT is your friend.
Wait, what's that one?
We get to teach, chat. We get to teach.
Yes, do it.
All right, buddy. REBT is a very, very funny form of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's called rational emotive behavioral therapy. You're gonna get very familiar with a buddy named Albert Elvis, and it's an approach that basically helps you identify irrational beliefs and negative thought patterns that may lead to emotional behavioral issues. So it's CBT plus cursing, basically. Like, no shit. It's basically CBT but cursing. It does the whole ABCs. The ABCs of CBT. Refresh you. ABCs of CBT. Time. This is a refresh for everyone who doesn't know.
Please do. Yes.
So ABCs. A is your activating event or situation. That's your trigger. Whatever it's happening, something triggers you, right? B is some sort of belief, or usually it's an irrational thought that you might have about the event or situation. Because A happened, oh God, obviously these events are going to happen. And then C is the consequences, which is just distressing emotions, the resulting actions that you take from, those thoughts or beliefs. So in a scenario in RBT, they'd focus on you reframing how you think about that, or why that person didn't respond. So there's a lot of why questions, a lot of very hard, like, why do you think that? Why do you have that belief? What does that serve you? Does that belief serve you some reason? Like, why is it that you believe that, you need to have your brother in your chat kind of thing? What does it serve you to have him there? So yeah, basically you do problem solving, you do cognitive reconstruction, which is just like CBT. It's just kind of like, let's lay out our thoughts, let's draw it out. Is this really logical? Is this, realistic? And you use a lot of humor and irony kind of with that. Problem solving techniques can be stuff like, learning social skills, learning to be assertive. You're learning, to make decisions and stuff and resolve conflicts. And then coping techniques is, just your general like relaxation, it can be hypnosis as well, meditation, stuff like that, which is why I teach a lot of mindfulness. I love mindfulness. So my big fucking like 3 that I'm, kind of attuned to is mindfulness therapy, humanistic, which is literally just taking a person where they're at, talking as they're talking, if I need to sit down in a fucking lounge with them, just to have a chat conversation, that's what I'll do. That's what they need, and you know, a bit of Freudian shit, you know, dream interpretation shit. But you know, CBT is like one that everyone goes back to. I'm not a huge fan of it, but you know, REBT is a funner version of it because you get to curse. So
got you.
yeah, in a word, it's fun.
I love learning.
So,
I love learning too.
going back to what Potch was saying, how
Yes.
he's the kind of person that can just be like, dude, shut the fuck up, to himself. I was the one that was the fragile. He had to be very, very calm and nice and sweet and delicate with me because I was the one that was pushing against him.
I feel like we
It
haven't
was-
talked to you enough today as well, and I feel bad.
No, it's okay. I'm kind of shy anyway, so
Aw, that's okay.
I have a tendency to let Potch talk a lot. He's the talker for the two of us.
So, going by what she was saying, her being that fragile is because she still somewhat is, watching her grow from where she was to where she is now has been when I said earlier, like, to write a book about it, like, I know it may have sounded like a joke, but I think if she did, because honestly, I can only go by what I said to her. She's the one that did all the work. I think if she wrote a book, what she's gone through mentally in the past 2 years could probably help countless people that are in that same fragile, I don't want to say mindset, but like, you know, the way that I tell myself to shut the fuck up. Maybe not so harsh. No, I do. But with her,
Yeah,
it
you
would
do.
be, sweetie, listen, this is what's going on. Can you please calm your voice down a little bit? Compared to, dude, shut the fuck up. You know, like that huge difference. But as for like the talking,
I have your
she-
book title,
she-
by the way.
yeah,
Yeah. So there's a very harmful book called Walking on Eggshells.
I know that book.
Yeah. It's a bit harmful in the whatchamacallit, in the borderline personality disorder community, because it's not really written by a person with BPD. It's kind of written from the from the POV of like, you just have to deal with it kind of thing. Like, it's very dehumanizing. So in direct opposite to that, you should name your book I Am the Eggshells. A personal biography of hate and mental health.
I love it.
I'm
Yeah,
funny. I'm funny sometimes.
Oh no, that was good. That was gold.
That was really good.
I found that I'm definitely, especially in situations like this, the talker. But one thing I will say is that when she, like, for me personally, when she does talk, like, I want to listen.
Same.
Because she'll be quiet, but then she'll say something, and I'm like, holy fuck, okay. And then I'll have to wait again for a while before she says it again. But I'm just like, okay. I'm very grateful to be around somebody as intelligent as she is. Like, it's really, really cool. It's super cool. And sometimes I wish she would talk more because she could. And this is where my mind goes. You could benefit so many more people with all the intelligence that you have in your mind. But then I have to look at personalities, and I know that she is a quieter person, and she is, and that's why sometimes I feel like I need to boost you up because you're not fucking saying it enough. You're not yelling from the rooftops how fucking awesome you are, and you need to be, in my opinion. So I'm gonna fucking do it for you. But because I've noticed that there's the stigma of the quiet person usually just is the dumber person, and it is quite the opposite.
It is not true.
In this, yeah, that is quite
Frankie.
the opposite.
Frankie is a very quiet person. Like, they don't like interacting with people. But when they do, they're just very wise. Honestly, they're sometimes like lazy about it, and it's like you don't even. It's basically they have an attitude of, like, you don't deserve all this, which is great. I fucking love them for it. And I love being their partner. But
that I feel that so deeply. I was gonna be a teacher years ago when I started doing psychology,
It's awesome.
and I said that I would never work in a high school or elementary school, not because I hate them, but because I feel that they don't deserve what I have, because they probably half of them won't even pay attention. I want to teach in college because those fuckers paid to hear it, so they're gonna listen to what I have to say. But
That's
I
funny.
totally feel that I'm like, dude, you don't deserve to hear what's coming out of my face right now.
What's funny is we actually met a couple of streamers, or not streamers, but Twitch people this weekend.
That was awesome.
Too Short Sally,
Really?
who was in your chat. Yeah.
Yo, what's good?
They came up here and they were recruiting for the drum corps or something like that. They tour around.
No shit, that's awesome.
And so we met them at Denny's for coffee and some lunch, and Sally pretty much had the same, kind of reaction that you did, in that she kind of felt bad because she wasn't really talking to me as much, and I wasn't really speaking. And I said, and Poch brought up this wonderful thing, is if you see me doing other stuff, I'm not ignoring people. I'm actually an extremely good listener, and this is something that I am proud of, so I don't have a problem saying that I'm good at it. But
Good.
I'm a really good listener, and I'm very observant. And just because I'm staring at my phone and I'm coloring or I'm doing something else doesn't mean I'm not paying attention. I hear everything.
You have ADHD?
I do.
Yeah, okay, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to stim to fucking pay attention, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if they took that away from you, you just be like, ah.
No, that's
Or go to
exactly what
sleep.
it is. Yeah, or go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Which
Straight
is
up.
why I've been sitting here playing with my ring and my
When I-
rock that I have, and I've got a fidget spinner.
Love it. Yeah, I saw that. When I was like on my rant last night, and me and Frankie were having a fucking hoot over all like the cancelable shit I was saying. It's fucking hilarious, dude. I wrote it down. It's gonna be a fucking comedy special at some point. I'm gonna get canceled for it. It's great. Anyway, I am. Listen, all right. I'll put it this way. I'm Jewish, and I was making a lot of Jew jokes, so it's like
Got you.
I'd get
Got you.
canceled.
I make Catholic jokes all the time.
I get cancer for this shit. Anyway, but we were just like fucking laughing about it, and like 0.2 seconds after we were like done laughing, I kept like talking, but then Frankie was like, I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right, and I decided to go to sleep at that time.
Yeah, I've accepted for the most part that there's just always something going on with her. Always something going on, because it used to be like, oh, if you don't want to pay attention, I'll stop talking. And she's like, she would repeat back everything I said. And I'm like, all right, they're cocky. I see what you're doing. You know, like just memorizing everything I'm saying and repeating it back. And every once in a while, and this is intersectionality, like the way that I've always had it is that if I say something and somebody's doing something, they're actively ignoring me. And that's something that I've dealt with in my life with other people, not with her, but with other people. So what I've had to work on since being with her is, if she's, because she has a coloring app that she does, she taps things on her phone.
Which
If
I'm
she's
doing
doing-
right now.
Nice.
If she's doing that and I'm talking, my instinct is to be like, you don't want to hear what I'm saying. I'm going to stop speaking. I don't feel like wasting my breath. Right? Like what I have to say, I feel is important. If it's not to you, I'll keep it to myself. That's how I used to be. And I would stop and be like, dude, why aren't you listening? And she would look at me crazy, like, no, I'm listening to everything you're saying. And that's been a growth that, between the two of us is she used to, like, what are you talking about? Now she knows to respond back to me. I am listening. It's just I'm doing this to remind me that that's what's going on. And then I'll go, oh, yeah. And then be able to keep going on. So she has that grace, with me to go, hey, calm your tits, big guy. This is what I do. And then, I have that like, oh, yeah, I remember. I'm so sorry. And then if I see her doing it, to not be upset about it and to keep going. It's neat watching the two parts of our lives, the two things that have developed from wherever they developed. Like, not only does our intersectionality mess with ourselves,
Mhm.
but it interacts with those around us and interacts with the people and the little things, not just, do you like, black people? Do you like cops? Not just that, but little things like, oh, are you tapping on your phone while I'm talking to you? Which probably would never come up in a Black Lives Matter conversation. You know what I mean? But it's
Right.
something that is an intermingle between two people that are around each other that stemmed from, my side of it going, if you're doing something, you're actively ignoring me. Had nothing to do with her, had to do with me and my childhood. And then her with, ADHD had nothing to do with me, had to, so it's neat the amount of intertwining all of this actually comes down to. It can be very, very complicated, but very simple all at the same time. It intrigues me. And something that Shandy used to be saying is, I'm like, that's interesting. And that whenever I say it's interesting, that's never a negative thing. If something's interesting, that's fucking awesome. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more. Like I need to know more. I mean, shit, that's how I come to this stream. I'm just like, wait, Waba said something. That's interesting. Then
I
I'm
love
sitting here
you.
listening, waiting for more.
Yeah, I have to say I love your communication style. I love it. It's very mindful. It's kind of laid back, but it's also like questioning everything, and I love that. I always love to question everything. I love your relationship as well. Like you two are fucking adorable.
It's been a work, and I'm not just saying that I had to work. She's had to work on me. Like it's been a work, but it's been one that, for the first time in my 44 fucking years of life, well, we got together a couple years ago, but to where each person was actively working at the same time, and it's been the difference of one person works, the other person doesn't, vice versa. The shit doesn't it butts heads, but we're actively working on shit at the exact same time. And it's very fluid. Is really neat.
I've never had a relationship with anybody in my entire life, not even a friendship like the one that I have with Poch. Like, it is, I can honestly say that in the first time in my entire life for the last couple of years, I have actually been happy.
That's amazing. I'm really fucking proud of you for that.
It's the work she put in, man.
I love that.
All
right.
Like, it's encouraging to me.
Listen, I gotta take a pee break.
Yep.
And it's ad time as well, so it lines up well.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna pee, and then I'm gonna ask our last question because I gotta go pick up Frankie at 11:15. So.
Awesome.
Be right back.
Hey, I got a surfing ad. What'd you get?
TV ad.
Oh, skateboarding now.
For leverage redemption.
I don't even know what that means.
Ooh, I got a camera ad.
Oh, this is the Hyundai Santa Fe. It's your journey.
An Excedrin. Extra strength.
Gingerbread Cookie Man?
A truck ad? Nope. Insurance.
Insurance. There's
USA.
a dragon. I just killed a fucking dragon though.
Ooh, cheeky sandwiches. I am so hungry.
Cookie Run Kingdom. It's a game.
I wish we had money. I want a chicken sandwich. Oh, it looks so good. Audible.
And we're back.
Oh, look, Mariah Carey. Nope, I still have another ad. Xfinity. They can suck my nuts. Oh, hi, people.
Okay.
We were just commenting on the commercials. They were fun.
Were they?
You missed me saying that the internet company we have can suck my nuts.
Oh, which one?
The left.
Xfinity.
Oh, not which
yeah.
nut.
Spectrum.
No, I like the right nut, thank you.
Sorry.
I just have 2 left ones. One right one. Are we
I don't technically have any, but
3 nut buddies? Let's go.
Superpowers.
Spectrum can suck it, true. Yeah. Anyway,
So what do we got? What do
Okay.
you got for that question?
So
I'm intrigued. Like as soon as you said it, I was like, I want to know.
Couple of things first. I just want to say first and foremost, thank you both for coming on. Thank you for all the fucking kind words you've said to me tonight. Like I thought about it just now when I was like pissing about having all these people in the community come out and come see and like come share the stream, and that's really what it's about. I've told people like, yeah, I want to do this for my full time. Partner is definitely one of those goals on that way. And that happens when the community decides it happens, and it is up to y'all to make it happen, and I have no power over that. I can do what I do my YouTube thing, do my TikToks, do my Instagrams, whatever. At the end of the day, if you like it, share it. If you think someone else could benefit from a community like this, absolutely share it. Either mine or Pochfad's community or anyone's community, if they can benefit, if there's some value there. And this is what I kind of try to pride myself a little bit, is that I think my community has that value factor that people might seek. Maybe not a lot of people, but enough people seek it out and need it. I don't know. I'm just out here doing the thing.
Well, just so you know, everything that Poch has said is doubled on my end as well.
Aw.
We're like, when I say we're genuinely both fans, like genuinely, and that and I guess now I just thought about like saying fans, like peasants. I mean, like we literally look at what you say, listen to what you say, and see what you're building and see what you're doing. To me, I love it because I'm in the same avenue. Like that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to build. So when I see somebody else proactively doing, I'm like, what is it? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers combined, whatever the fuck it is, right? And it's just, let's make it bigger.
We gotta go. Same. I feel the same. Whenever I find someone who does mental health, like Bear Project is someone I gotta check out more, and his friend as well. Fuck, I forgot his name. But yeah, it's just like I see all these people doing mental health stuff. I'm like, awesome. I want to be part of this. I want to see what they're doing, how they're doing it, what they're building. And build on it. So yeah. Sorry, go on.
Like when I stream, which is few and far between these days, but when I do, it's usually Uber Eats, which means I'm just driving around delivering food, and people get to sit in my car like they're on a car ride, look out the windshield, and we discuss pretty much anything that anybody will come up with, and I will sit there and I will share stories. I'm completely transparent like Potches. I talk about everything, so if you ever come in, you'll probably hear all of my trauma, because at some point I'll say something about all of it. And we'll discuss why it's an unhealthy thing, and then we'll talk about what people can actively do to solve the problems that they're having with it in their own heads.
I love that. I love using your experience, and that's what I kind of do here. Is just use your experiences, and I use other people's experiences to educate. Really, that's what the interviews are all about, is education through experience, and hopefully build not just sympathy but empathy, actual empathy. Understand where a person is at. Put your feet in their shoes. Feel for them. Feel what it might feel like to be that little kid on the street. To be that like raging, angry person.
Right.
I think that's huge, because that whole thing of, if it didn't happen to me, it isn't important.
Right.
When you put yourself in their shoes, it's now happening. You know what I mean? At least in a mental way, it's happening. So it becomes a little bit more real, a little bit more. Oh, you're not just exaggerating. That's fucked up. Like it actually will sit in. I like that.
One of my favorite things to do is if somebody's having that like super bad, just I'm anxious, or I'm so depressed, or this is really stressing me out, I will be that person that they'll come to talk to if Potch isn't on, and I'm like, all right, let's park it up for a minute, and then we're gonna have a moment of meditation. And I will guide them through a meditation to bring their feelings and their emotions back down. And this is I'm empathic, so this is something I have to do
Same.
with myself on a regular basis. I will guide them down to where they can start thinking rationally about the situation and how they're going to go about reacting to it.
I feel that. Yeah, I've done some guided meditations in here before. I might do more in the future.
I love them.
They're very fun.
One thing that's kind of interesting about her being very empathic is I have a very low EQ. Like very
Really?
low. Yeah,
That's
it's. I mean,
amazing.
the kind of thing where, in the first time I realized it was, I was at my cousin's funeral, and I was just like, "Oh, that sucks. He's gone. I'm gonna miss him."
Right.
And people are like on the floor crying, and I'm like, it just sucks that he's not gonna be around. What are we doing later? And I felt heartless, but then I was like, but I'm not feeling that. I'm going to miss him. I care about him. He's, it was my cousin. We did stuff together, but he's gone now. That's the fact of it. Logic is that he's gone. He's not going to come back. And so it was great, the memories that I have with him. Now it's time for me to move on because I'm not gone. And that was when I was like, wow, is there something fucking wrong with me? Like that's where my brain goes. Then that's when I started studying, emotional quote and like what. And I realized that I just have a super, super, super low one. Like it takes big events, like big events, and certain ones, to get me to actually have like a. And I'll even go to Star and be like, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, what the fuck am I feeling right now? Like I've come to her a few times being like, this shit ain't normal. Why do I feel this? What the fuck is happening? And honestly, there's been a few times where it was a little scary because it was so foreign to me, but it works well between the two of us because she's so well, you explain it better.
For him, it's like a almost empty void. It's the one place that I can go and one person that I can be around that I know for 100% sure, where I can just go, oh, fuck, and just take a breath. And I don't have to worry about pushing away somebody else's emotions and remembering what mine are. He's that release and that quiet place.
Which I never thought me having next to no emotions would be a great thing, but apparently it works out pretty good.
That's wild.
At least right here, right here.
I'm very glad you have that dynamic with each other and you're able to kind of work with it and make it work for you in your relationship. So I'm like super awesome, proud of that.
Yeah, well, I have to stop sometimes because something will happen and I'll go into logic mode and go, well, if A and B equals C, then and start going through that.
See,
she's like, you don't get it, and I'm like, wait a minute. You just said you don't get it. That means it's an emotional thing. I recognize and I go, okay, talk to me because I have no fucking clue what's going on.
I have a very high emotional intelligence. So I'm just kind of like a big comfort for Frankie, but they don't like talking too much. They don't like me talking too much about our relationship, but it's good.
I respect that. Totally respect
that. We have run out of time, so couples therapy will have to continue next week. Since you offered, and I'm gonna talk to Maki as well and see what's going on there. We might focus on Maki for a bit because if she has to go, that way y'all can have the rest of the floor for the night. But yeah, Frankie literally gets out of work or got out of work. I don't know if they're actually done or not. I might be sitting there till midnight and I might be foolishly ending the stream early. I don't know because of the nature of Stuart's. Actually, I could give them a cursory text and just be like, done, ? And we'll see where they're at real quick. But yeah, again, just thank you so much, both of you, for coming on tonight. Thank you for the great discussion. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, chat, as well. Y'all are awesome. Y'all were doing some great work out there. We only had one troll, and that's a fucking new record right there. Only one. That was great.
Because it's gonna eat my brain, and I don't know if you want to DM it to me. I'm really curious what your last question was. I'm just curious. We can talk about it another time.
There. It's right there. How do you end racism? It's kind of a joke of a question, but I think it warrants an interesting discussion.
Oh, I
Yeah,
have
I don't
ideas.
think
I
we have
got
enough
theories,
time for
dude.
that
Yeah, we
discussion.
don't. We do not.
Exactly, which is why we got to table it for next week.
Yep. Cool. I'm glad I know. Like, I just needed to know. Now that I know, I'm like, oh, we're not talking about this tonight. Nope.
All right.
No, there's no way.
All right, we're gonna
Yep.
go. We're gonna go visit my favorite VTuber and soon to be yours. A very big different shift change.
I know who it is.
Yeah, who is it gonna be?
Is. What's her name? Something hates. What is?
Close enough.
has-
It's nobody listens to more. Here's the raid
Nobody
message.
listens to Maury. That's what it is.
Feel
That's what it
free
is.
to use all your raid emotes. Feel free to use that. Fucking copy pasta. I like raiding into her. It's a comfy raid. I have to go anyway, so.
Oh, that's awesome.
And in fact, I'll
I actually
thankfully-
lurk on her when I see her on from you because we raided into her and I followed her and I'll see her on and just
So,
and lurk a bunch.
31 fucking lovely people ready to raid. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for listening to this amazing discussion. Thank you for being part of this. I'm so honored, and we will talk more. Chat, continue the conversation as always. I love you all. Take care of yourselves out there. Feel free to interact any of the socials and the Discord, all that good stuff. You know what to do it. You probably need to do it online though, because I have, fucking Sarah. But yeah, bye. I love you. Bye.